Flynn says he likes to see the boys work and get a lot of maps under his belt.
It's interesting because we see some rounds in that series where Sen looked like the future Sentinels. He's playing really great util combos with the Teo in their comp, has these incredibly well-structured rounds, but we're still seeing the Sentinels of last year who, when it gets into the slop, they have the plays to get through it. But I think it's a big question of whether that can work against G2, who thus far has looked like the cleanest team in Americas, maybe the cleanest team in the world. I mean, they're looking like Carmi out there, not a speck of dust allowed. Every second counts for this team.
Hey, but you know what, though? Unlike last year, they made a pretty big change this year. They got themselves a bang. And he's actually standing by with Rivington to get his thoughts heading into this matchup.
I'm here with Bang before his big game versus G2 today. Late last year, you joined Sentinels. What have you enjoyed about being on the team? How has it been? What has it taught you? And what are you looking forward to?
I mean, honestly, like, my favorite part is the players and, like, the coaching staff. Obviously, I interact with them every day, but they're just great people, funny people to be around. So we always goof around all the time. It's a lot of fun. But honestly, it's also taught me, being on Sentinels, like, how much some orgs can care about, like, their players and the management. I feel like they care a lot about us, and they've shown it many times. So we always get catered to our needs, to get food whenever we want. So it's pretty chill.
It sounds like a good gig. Good luck in the match today.
Yeah, and honestly, Bang was the difference maker in their final map of Split against Loud.
What a difference.
Starts off so weak on that attacking side, and my man was putting up the numbers that I think every Sentinels fan was hoping to see out of this guy, and then some with the signing. And
this is what he was doing on 100 Thieves last year. In my opinion, the best member of that 2400 Thieves roster, and keeping it up here for Sen. When they're playing nail-biters like this, they really rely on him to come up with these clutches. But also with the way they play their defense, they need him to be that stalwart anchor. This Teo Breach comp excels at playing the Flood retake. And if your anchor isn't living long enough, providing space to actually let the initiators rotate and flood in, you are losing rounds, and Bang is consistently getting them those wins.
Yeah, honestly, I think this guy is going to be one of the strongest side anchors in Americas, and specifically when getting very little support. Like, I think the way that he sort of thinks about the game, the positions he's putting himself in consistently on sites, abusing off angles, working the conditioning against you, playing off his own smokes. He has such a mind for that style of play, probably out of the doldrums of solo queue where you have no support for yourself whatsoever. But that's how he views the game, and he's so crisp at it.
Yeah, very smart player. It's reflected in the game. I mean, the guy puts up numbers. He's so freaking talented. And while, Bang always approaches the game without a doubt in a very methodical sense here, on the other side, you look at the duelist matchup, both players very methodical. It's just their methods are quite crazy, and they're so good as a result of that, and very entertaining.
Absolutely, but Zekin's great. But if I'm a Sen fan here, I am quaking in my Sentinels branded sneakers and my Sentinels branded hoodie.
Yeah, not included in the bundle for the
Not included.
Because Jojimo has just been so fine. We have not seen an outstanding Jaw game yet. He's been good on G2.
That's crazy,
the system well, but we have not seen a Jaw takeover yet. And that's not because he's been bad. That's just because they've been stomping every game. And once we get that Jaw takeover game, G2 becomes all the more terrifying.
Yeah, and people maybe forget a little bit last year for Jogamo. He wasn't putting up the best numbers. Like, it was actually probably one of the weaker years for him
I would say
in
the
his
weakest.
career. Sure. I don't think we're seeing that. Even though the numbers are lower, the rounds where he still needs to have impact, he is still shooting where he needs to.
But talking about Zekin, he's taken to this Euro role so well. I think his util on that agent has looked so comfortable. We already talked about his 1v5 ace clutch earlier in the show. He's been as consistent, as incredible as ever for Sentinels.
Yeah, this is the battle that I am so looking forward to here. Zekin and Jogamo. It doesn't get any better than that, though. But for more on what we should be expecting on the G2 side, let's send it over to Riv, who's standing by with a special guest.
I'm with Jonah P before the match today, a big one before Sentinels here. I got to ask you, it's been widely said now that G2 is the best team in America. How are you feeling about that conclusion? Do you think any other teams stack up there?
I mean, we only played 2 matches, so it's kind of funny seeing all these conclusions. But, I mean, we feel good. I think today will determine, and solidify, like, who is the best team. Because, it's always G2 and Sen, like, one of the most consistent. I would say we're looking a bit stronger. They're also getting the wins, but ours are just a bit cleaner, and that's pretty much it.
I got a little follow-up question. What team, when you play them, do you think kind of teaches you the most about you guys as a team and what you need to do?
It's hard to say, because we've kind of been pretty dominant in practice in general. So I would say just Josh RT if I had to pick someone. Ooh. He's always, hour review before scrims, 2 hours after scrims, I would just give it to Josh.
All right, Josh gets it.
Look, it's no secret that Leaf is one of the best players in Americas right now. I just want to take a moment to appreciate the numbers because they are crazy. And especially since he's made the move over and playing out of this chamber, he has just been fully unleashed. Yeah, #1 in basically every category. That's all you need to know. The guy can shoot. But now I want to look at his attacking side on Pearl and how well he shuts down creep ups from the defense and also gets lurking himself. In this round, right, his team is getting ready for a little bit of a fight into mid while all of a sudden Demon One smokes off that trip to try and path on past that, which he can hear, right? Immediately. Leaf is turning around. That's him right there, fully prepared to take this fight. Yeah, okay, he misses a shot, but it doesn't matter. No. He's going to get that kill and take down Demon One. But the way he's shut down B Long wasn't just off of his own.
I don't fucking watch any
for
just
like a few rounds later
2 games or some shit,
and him to again
come back to
make
that.
it impossible for
Demon
One to step up
man?
into Long. The first thing you're going to look at is the drone, right? So drone comes around the corner, gets broken. Now they know that Demon One, he's sort of in that pocket right there, the little guy. He's standing there with his gun, hiding in the corner. You guys get me. You get me. And Jogamo is going to do a lot of this jump baiting. So basically, he's going to jump peek a couple of times here and hope that Demon One posts up on the line, and as they're resetting, Leaf is going to be able to sneak in there. So again, post up on the line. Here comes another jump peek, I believe. No one's peeking. No one's peeking. Probably because I haven't pressed play. There's the jump. There's the flash. Easy kill. And what that does in the very first 6 rounds of the game is it says, hey, never come B Long ever again. And after that, it makes it a lot easier to focus around some mid control for the team. And here, I want to actually look at what Leaf is able to do in the mid space. He's going to start out in a lot of rounds playing away from the rest of his team. Come on, man, help me out. There we go. So here he is over in A lobby right now. And one thing that G2 will do is they'll use Astra Stars to help him out. So that could be a pullback star if he takes a contact, anything. And ultimately, what he's going to do is he's going to creep up into the space and realize there's actually not a fight for him. Enemy Astra is going to put a smoke in main, but he doesn't overforce. And this is an anti-eco, so he's going to play things very slowly, moving back over into the mid space. So often you'll see him playing in these 2 buckets right here, trying to cut off players going for fast rotates or flanks into the mid space. He fights pretty aggressively for that. But you can see, again, he doesn't rush, right? He could go look into street for kills right now, but he waits, right? Enemy team, they're looking for him in mid, but he's really not going to give the angle. And it's only at the point where G2 are ready to look for this pinch play in to street that he's going to go for the swing here. Wow, the Telestrator really doesn't like me today, but he's going to go for the swing as we're ready to come help out on the other side. I'll just roll the clip and you can appreciate that one more time. A flash goes through, they're feinting this fight, and a little flash comes in on the other side. And this guy was putting up some insane rounds outside of that, as I just appreciate him killing Demon one more time. Easy clap.
Easy clap. You'll love to see it, folks. All right, people. Well, this is it. Let's go ahead and start the kickoff's final weekend. It starts right now.
My upcoming match against G2, it'll be a good game as always. I think they're very talented, they're very young, very skilled. I think One Leaf is just in his form right now.
Nice shade of blue still. You don't want to overextend into this one, you monster.
They have good individuals. I don't think their team play is very good. I think they went off a lot of heroics, to be honest, and that's probably what our game is going to come down to, is team play versus heroics.
Narrate is close by and he's dead. Much more to be found for Zek, and he's gonna have to ace if he wants to win this out. Make that 4. Not able to settle the shots. He buys some time on the swing, and second delivers for Sen City.
One of them will just go for hero timing, and they'll maybe get it, or they won't. But we just need to be very prepared for that kind of stuff, and just make sure that we do our best to not let it overtake us.
I do think if they make the international stage and they win something, or keep going top 2, then I'll consider them the best team in the world. But right now, sorry G2, but it's just Americas.
Riot Games Arena. It's time for the kickoff upper bracket final. Let's make some noise for the first team to take the stage. G2 Esports!
And G2 Esports coming into this one with a lot of hype. And they have every reason to be excited for this. G2 has been on an absolute tear throughout the entirety of kickoffs, looking like a dominant force, Mimi. Can anyone stop them?
They look like the team to beat. Their team play has been excellent throughout this tournament. Whenever a round goes wrong, the individuals have won pretty much every time. I cannot say there has been a team who has tested G2 yet. And I think the biggest question for Sentinels is, are they in the same league? Can they actually challenge this G2 team, or are they going to make a run all the way to the Americas Trophy and Bangkok?
It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Let's go ahead and bring out their opponents.
Now, let's bring out their opponents. Fighting for a spot at Masters Bangkok, Sentinels!
And you can hear the crowd for the Sentinels, most definitely the fan favorite squad. A lot of people love this team, but I mean, there's one team that don't love them on the other side of the stage is G2, and they're looking to shut this one down as soon as they can. You heard Zelsis as well saying, I don't think G2 is the best team in the world, and maybe America's, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he'll try and prove that he's the best coming up into this game right here. Look, from Sentinels, it's been a little bit more inconsistent compared to G2 on the other side. Sentinels are going to have to come in. They're going to show they put in a lot of work this week and bring their absolute A game if they want to take down the team that's faced them down on the other side.
That game against Loud was just so close. It came down to the heroics, the clutches to come out on top. They have a lot of really interesting ideas. They're on the cutting edge of the meta with the Yoru, with the Vise, with the Tejo. But I think the question is always going to go back to implementation and if they are at the same level of G2 in terms of their team play.
Yeah, and honestly, we're going to be looking at, you know, we've seen Jogamo and Zekken mirror Jet matchups before. We've seen mirror Raze matchups. Don't think we've ever seen the mirror Yoru matchup. And you know, with a pool like this, we're going to be seeing some Yoru.
Very possible. There's your series layout: Abyss, Pearl, and Fracture if necessary. Mimi, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I think Abyss is going to be interesting. My biggest question is how Sentinels are going to crack Leaf on the chamber. They've only shown that map once thus far, but he was an absolute menace in main when they were on their defensive side. So many resources had to get put into dealing with that one guy. And on top of that, they're playing double Senti as well with the Vise in the mix. It's a very difficult comp to navigate through.
Yeah, genuinely, I think that G2 has the best read on the meta of teams in Americas at the moment. They've got some patterns you can look at, sure, like how Leaf is going to approach that mid space on attack, right? Very slow in his play, but ultimately what it means is there's very few gaps to try and punish G2 in a massive way, even if you are looking at those tendencies. This team is very reserved in a way where they don't leave themselves open to a lot of avenues of attack.
We haven't seen Sentinels on this map yet in kickoff, so there's still questions there. But for G2, going back to that same comp, or is that different? Were they playing the Vise before?
We're starting out on
Abyss.
Abyss, yes, yeah. I'm almost positive.
Excuse me, I was trolling with that one. It is the same exact composition being ran through with that double initiator look, and this is a very classic Abyss comp on the other side for Sentinels.
As old as they come right here, honestly. It's hard, right? Because you can absolutely make it work, but I feel like the flexibility that you're sort of provided with the different teleports that G2 have and the sort of opening up for Leaf to take the fights he wants to take on the chamber, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's going to be a big problem to have to deal with.
First time we're going to get to see Zekken on the Jet this stage. He's been playing so much of the Yoru of the Raze, but this is back to a classic agent for him.
Well, folks, Masters Bangkok is on the line. So let's go ahead and get this banger started. Riot Games Arena, make some noise as we send it over to your casters. It's Uber and Wyatt.
It just about doesn't get any better than this, folks. Just like Golden Boy said, the winner of this match will have one of those guaranteed spots at Masters Bangkok. And of course, it's two of our biggest rivals here, not only domestically, but worldwide. If you think back to when G2 was a European org, these guys are going to throw down some strong opinions also expressed about one another's approach to the game, Wyatt.
Definitely. It's been 4 years straight of trash talk, banter back and forth from these two organizations, all types of different rosters throughout those periods of time.
Bro. Never.
But, you know, really, we haven't seen these two cores play against each other all that much. I'm excited to see them go at it. Everything on the line.
It's time for Samsung match start, folks. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs into the pistol. With G2 starting on this attack side. And Sen Opta. And Circle here through mid. They've already got Bang positioned over towards that door, so keenly aware that G2 might be looking to overload this part of the map.
We haven't gotten to see a whole lot of G2's attacks. Oh my god, a shock actually connects with that spam damage as well. First blood from Trent, and Lee finds the second. The duo that has been just unreal for G2 up until this point.
Sendo exploring there in mid after that first kill comes out. And obviously from that upper catwalk, it's an easy pick off for Leaf with the Headhunter. Second has been the hero. We've heard the word heroics thrown around by G2. They're softly referring to this guy on your screen. Zekin has been incredible. Will he have to do that again in a series like this, Jorg? Such him down early, though. No value there off that Sheriff. Sentinel's down to 2, and frankly, White have been picked apart one by one.
And we get an early taste of, oh, well, Jonah in a bit of trouble, but all things considered, this should be fine. Unless Bang able to pick up a second here.
Deltas is still at large as well. He's got to make something happen from here, though, and kind of gave the game away earlier. Was given a stay of execution as, for some reason, Jonah couldn't connect. But Zelsis is having the same kind of yips. Getting Valen, but down to 48. In the post plant, mind you. Means Zelsis here can try and save some faces, but that's about all we can expect from a round like this. Flashpoint, Jonah plays off his own flash. And that's a pistol for G2.
Really clean fight towards mid, straight off the jump. Sentinels, we haven't seen them on this map yet. You know, I was expecting maybe a Vice coming into this because Zelsis has played so much of it, but they opt for
the double controller.
Yeah, the double controller, which definitely offers a lot of help for controlling mid. Given the sightlines are so long, it's tough to try and push up either on defense or attack. We'll have to see what they exactly intend on doing with it, though. G2 off to a hot start. At the moment, they've played 4 maps, won all of them really with ease.
They're really leading into this idea of John QT as their initiator. He's on the Sova on this map. After playing nothing but Tejo all kickoff. And there's a push by Sentinels out of the A site. G2, though, very much elsewhere.
Yeah, can't be mad at them going for the gamble. That's where Leaf was last time, so perhaps hoping if he's there again on that solo lurk containing A, they could have caught him by pushing really deep, but not going to be the case.
Well, they've made enough sound to wake the dead, but Leaf is going to remediate that. Puts them back to bed. Zek at least is able to get 1. And he will be set up here, of course, over towards that link.
Yeah, and pretty standard to have your Sentinel be one of the players that just retains a Ghost, maybe a Sheriff into that second round, be a bit more active with the lurk, trying to find kills. And if there's one thing Leaf's been, it's active in the lurk situations.
Trent, beautifully done. The higher ADR, KPR as well than any other state or tournament last year. Trent is really coming alive right now.
I remember back in the olden days when Trent was the hot upcoming star in Americas when the guard debuted way back when. Has just been consistent for them now and essentially a veteran at this point. Years of competing, but at the moment, really reaching a new peak.
What a battle, by the way. John QT and Valen, who come from the same graduating class, right? Think back, the guard, M80, these two incredible IGL prospects coming out of North America. And their record head-to-head, by the way, 5 for Valen, 4 for John QT. This is a battle of the masterminds.
Outlaw in the hands of Leaf will have, well, 1, 2 targets actually that could get 1 shot. Second shot doesn't connect onto Georgimo. That would have been a 1-shot kill.
On that note, probably the first time we've seen Zekin on the jet for the entirety of kickoff as well. It's been all Yoru, and obviously a little bit of Raze on split earlier. Okay, Narrate has the TP away from that aftershock here, so no presence towards the coast side. He'll still be set up decently for this, though.
Leaf deals with that drone as Trent picks up the orb. G2 known to be one of those teams that,
slow.
Yeah, they like to take their time on that attack side. They'll work the map. They want to give IGL Valen as many options as possible, figure out which side is weakest, and then go into one of their full executes where their timings on the utility have just been sublime.
G2 are waiting for much of that util to cycle back up now. Fault line is once more available for Jonah P. We saw that off the rip at the start of the round. Jorgamo here's got some ground to cover, of course, with a stinger in hand. He'd like to make that effective, and Narrate's playing close here. Caught out. It'll swing by Jorg, will secure it. John playing well and truly off the side, but this over util may light the way for Sen, as they've got second tucked up here, nice and close.
Spike going to be planted, Zekin outlaw for the retake, going to be challenging to try and find a kill unless someone from G2 over pushes, but over pushing doesn't seem like that's going to occur whatsoever. They're playing back just to spam the spike on cliffside.
Yep, strictly into those post-plant positions, leaving Jorgamo to cause problems up close here with that stinger, get some valued Leaf. Presiding over the situation from a long way away will bring Celsius down, and Sen
That's
have
a
any options.
bonus.
Frankly, the rotate over to upper was fairly late for them anyway. So they're going to pack it in for this round, hold on to the rifles.
Absolutely flattened in the bonus round. It's just slow, patient excellence from G2. I love how they deal with that repush back out of the Nebula to take down Narrate, who was already on such low HP. He was feeling pressure to try and be a bit more aggro. Bang needs to save that rifle, and he will. Oh, well, timing is a little off there from You hate to see that. Broken ankles.
He's an attack map, though.
And the rest of his body, really. It's about a 700-foot drop.
Fortunately, after such a powerful bonus round, money not a huge issue there for G2. But Jorg walks up there through that dark cover. Narrate loses out to the stinger.
Yaga.
And the post-plant position's very comfortable for G2. They just slowly pulled off of that side behind Nabskir's
tech
smoke.
pause.
And we're good to go. So tech pause here. Coming up, folks, we've got a mild audio issue down there on the stage, so we'll have that addressed in just a moment. But if you want to look towards the Sen camp, there's not a whole lot to say about these first couple of rounds, Wyatt.
No, certainly not. They've struggled to get some kills on the board too. They've only got 4 total at the moment, 3 rounds in. So they're going to be lacking in alt orbs. That's going to be even better for G2 to start to snowball. They have a comp that has really powerful ultimates when you have the Breach in the mix for the Rolling Thunder, the Dimensional Drift from Jaw, and they have a Hunter's Fury active when we get back into this. Danger for Sentinels looming early on for the G2 map pick. A map where we saw them handle Cloud9 with relative ease in their debut match.
And already, frankly, Leaf on that G2 side has had a great start to this game. Still seeing that chamber that he's been able to make work. It was so funny hearing the initial conversations about whether or not he should play chamber here in VCT. In scrims, he was getting bodied. And he sort of said to Valen, it's like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I'm struggling to have impact here. Valen's like, hey, once you get on stage, once you get on that 5 ping, trust me, you're going to cook. He trusted his IGL. He brought chamber in for that debut game, of course, and G2 looked sick.
Yeah, he has been, he's definitely been cooking.
You
can say that, given he's the statistical leader in essentially every single category in the tournament at the moment. The least kills he's put up on a map at 20. Utter dominance, and it's looked effortless as well.
And you want to talk about heroics, and how maybe Sentinels have really lent on Zekin to be a huge impact player. I've got to say, G2 have plenty of those candidates waiting in the wings to step up should they need them. Let's talk about your boy Zelsis, though. He had a little bit to say about facing his old teammate Leaf, so let us listen in.
Playing Leaf is always fun just because I consider him a very annoying younger brother. Like, we're always talking, we're always hanging out. We were on a team before, and I feel like we just have like a level of respect plus friendship with each other. And he's honestly just one of the best players to touch this game. I think he's been like that since he started playing this game. So it's just, I mean, it's just always fun and interesting to play against him because you never know what's going to happen. And you never know if he's going to go plus 40 or his scoreline or whatnot. But yeah.
Only positive things to say about Leaf, and I think the one that for me is poignant is he feels like he's one of the best players to touch the game, and I think that Leaf's now in a position that he really gets to demonstrate that. He's got such a cohesive unit to work through in G2 who have kept so much of this roster together for quite some time now. And the dividends for that dedication, White, I believe, are starting to really show this year.
Leaf really has consistently been one of the best Americas players for years. Back to when we were pre-VCT and it was still called Challengers, when he was with Cloud9. He's been on these teams that have always been at the top, but just fall short, like G2 getting second twice last year in Stage 1, Stage 2 finals on Cloud9, where they would just run through teams in the regular season, but fall short in the playoffs. If there were ever a time for this G2 team to break through that glass ceiling, get a trophy, it's now. It's with Jaw in the roster, the new X Factor. All right, we're on the full buy. What can Sen do? They had a couple rifles saved.
And looking all that great for them, of course, after the bonus for G2 went so well for that attack side. Can they make a dent, Sen? A pretty laboured push out of A with no real commitment.
It was a pop flash into a recon to try to find an early advantage with the bad buy that they're on. Doesn't manifest itself, and in the meantime, you had Trent over towards B. He expended his drone. He's trying to draw attention, but all for naught. Center still stacked up towards A.
Neither John nor Zelsis here at A have good weaponry to work with. This is bad, and Bang was the one actually with the rifle. Crossing to try and pick that up could be dangerous, but Zelsis is able to get there. So the rifle is still in someone's hands, but a huge first pick and leave. Okay, I was worried he might not be done, but Zekin finally gets himself into the game here.
I was watching...
A late trade, but much needed for Sen. Zekin weak, throws the rifle over to John. Cutie, a smart little micro decision.
And China is already
nowhere near the Blazestorm, so he'll be stuck on the Classic. Does Zelsis want to fight this though or get out?
He's got no choice, no option. Fault line's going to force him out of the action.
China is already... Chinese kickoff is already
over.
over.
The tip of the spear so far to push those smokes and take those fights. It was against Narrate earlier. This time, though, he's going to allow Zelsis to stew
and it's going to be Edward giving him
trades. There might be a crossfire set up here by Valve. They're ready to work this angle together, but Flash comes in. Valve and Jorg, there they are. Nabskir also.
They have a very Chinese side.
Comfortable round here for G2, and the last of those Sen rifles are torn out of
a really Chinese way of playing the
crossfire set up by
game.
G2 after getting into the site.
Thinking about the game and stuff.
On display from them after the initial fight. They don't try to
and even for a Chinese team, they're like
they allow
very,
that outlaw to pay off by slowing the pace of the game. You know, that's something that they've been doing a lot. Prioritizing Leaf getting a scoped weapon on attack. Dare I say, I think Leaf is probably doing more, or rather buying into those scoped weapons, playing with the outlaw and op
more
in total
Vitality
than I've really ever seen him do in the past.
And maybe even, you know, I mean, who else will come close so far in Kickoff? Maybe Digizine, someone else who's really trying to buy into that weapon. He did drop it that last round, but of course, we can upgrade to an operator here.
Sentinels calling the timeout. Kaplan trying to fix things early before the game gets completely out of hand. Again, we have to pay attention to the snowball that G2 are on in regard to the ultimates. Because Sen were lacking in kills, they were lacking in getting orbs.
Wait, no, it's not the
so as we head into this next one, G2, they're on the cusp of a couple. The Dimensional Drift one off.
No, Trace is the one that plays very classic.
Sentinels can't get something going here on this map. They've got to rely on their Pearl map pick, which is
it's not
great for them
who
in
play
fairness, but
G2 and shit
took us there once and looked stunning.
More
There's
like
no
playing with
guarantee
like
that they can even a series up here. They
stuff.
must find some traction on this defense side of Abyss.
Now, this is going to be, should be the toughest test for this G2 squad so far. They've been going against better and better opponents as time has gone on. It started with the 2-0 versus C9, and then Leviathan, a 2-0 versus them.
But for Sen,
which team was it?
This has to be the real test for them. All right, can Sen get back into this out of the timeout? What has Kaplan cooked up for them?
Might get another early pop off a flash on the A side of the map for Sen. Looks like they're going to give it up here. And a smoke placed pretty far forward by Narrate over to B. So Jorgamo's going to have this orb.
Yeah, gets them the Dimensional Drift, prioritizing the ultimates. Again, it's that snowball that they're on economically with the orbs. Offers Zekin. He's trying to control mid. Perhaps have an engagement against Leaf, but we'll have to see.
This is the same spot that Narrate was tested in by Jorg walking up the Stinger a couple of rounds ago. He's elsewhere, though. He's made his way all the way down mid. It might look to wrap around here. Emerge it. A pretty dangerous timing here for Sen. He should spot John over there. He's going to be forced off by a fault line. Here comes Jorg. He's on the side, and Narrate gets absolutely flattened. And nobody else for Sentinels is inside B. They've all now got to peer in from the extremities. And once again, G2 can fall back to these post-plant positions after Trent sticks it.
Oh, and Jaw, he went back through the gate crash, picks up Bang on the rotate as well. That is so intelligent from the new G2 star. Their one off-season change.
Oh no, it wasn't.
They have to just drag themselves here onto the site. They've cleared it at least with a 0 point. They have some information, but Leaf will be waiting on this. Oh, an opportunity to strike, but Zekin is waiting, and he held the line. Now, things get a bit more even. Zelson's able to spray down. Trent's going to have a crack in it, or at least light them up here. Trying to stop the power, but Zekin plants his feet instead. Jorg, though, coming from behind. Zelsis isn't ready for it. The third for Jorg, and now the updraft won't be enough to shake the Yoru. Jorg with 4, and G2 cannot be stopped.
Jaw is just too good. He is the X factor for this team. The reason we're looking for them to have finally, push things over the top. This roster is just so good. All 5 players.
Man, that guy put in some mileage last round.
Right here, this moment, that flash into the fault line. Look at how it leaves Nere on an island, and then that snappy shot. Teleports back to mid, cuts off Bang on the rotate from A, and then reacts with a flank. The pathing in that round from him is perfection. This guy is so different.
Zen got completely exposed in that round. And now, of course, we go back to take some humble pie. Just the pistols to work with now. Blade Storm for Zek, and any edge that Sen could possibly get in a round like this.
I can't remember which team
They've
was
gone
it.
back to the well of push A main. Try and find an opening there, which has
like
worked so
triple
far. Zek is
smokes
spotted by
and
the drone,
shit.
and he's going to be on the run.
Trenton's just ready for it. Playing in a safe proximity. Clearing with the hour drone, and Sen re-explore immediately back into A main. They are adamant about getting their pistol value, such that Zekin even extends to get some damage on Trent. And G2 don't like what they see. Now they take control of mid for the attackers.
Again, it's slow from G2. They want to get that information around the map. They know that there's got to be, minimum 2, probably 3 players fighting for a main, so they gather up B. But Sentinels kind of beating them to the punch. They've got rotates here. Can they try and get in for Nere?
John is playing from upper instead of Link this time. Nare's going to get hit with all of the util here, though. He is stunned for the foreseeable future, and Jorg emerges. Another double. Zeka with the Blade Storm, desperately trying to even the odds. But this is oppressive from G2.
The fundamentals on G2 have been lights out. This is the 5th map in a row on this tournament where you never spot a situation where a player is pushed forward and there isn't that second player behind him ready to trade. They are always there for each other. Jaw presses forward, then you have Trent fighting next to him. This transfer spray onto Zekin, who really needed to find that kill to give Sentinels any amount of chance.
Swimwear? Is that code for he's in there? 6-0 here for G2. Once again, Sentinels back to the buy. A Cosmic Divide here, that's set up by Valen. It gives G2 all this space. Oh, and Earth was that from Zekin. Ungodly reaction time.
They need him to come to life like that. Leaf immediate trade onto Narrate, though. Do G2 try and slow it down? They're trying to give Leaf some time to work the map. Zekin is weary.
They've gambled the A site. This triplet of Sentinels able to finally nullify Jorgamo's impact. Trent here is a lone wolf over towards A main as Leaf is still meandering his way up the top of mid.
And you've got to imagine at some point Leaf is just going to wander into this crosshair of Zekin. He can't sit in top mid forever.
Zekin is patient. Has a real good feel for this. The shot though isn't good. So Leaf has another option, another chance perhaps, and Zelsis ends up getting taken down. So Leaf still takes his pound of flesh. Pinged out here though, 40 seconds left in the round. The spike is over towards A main. This would be Herculean for Leaf. Even for him, it might be asking too much. Okay.
30 seconds left.
Oh, that's unreal. Bang gets hit with the trademark there. Easy to spray him down. He was slowed. But again,
Okay, I can't find the team
odds towards
I'm
Leaf, and
thinking
finally
of.
Sen City get the lights turned on.
Feels like they either found or are just trying to force confidence in that round. But I want to see that from Zekin. He really has been the key to success for Sentinels. Like Leaf said in that interview before the game, he feels that this team is relying on heroics. The hero has been Zekin. He comes up with that lovely first kill.
Brick by Brick is right. And a very lackluster start here for Sentinels so far, but now something a little bit more to hang your hat on. Again, we saw the replay there from Zekin a couple of times, realizing that he has to take action there. Otherwise, they get stifled, choked out by a Cosmic Divide that would allow G2 to take so much of the map. It was important that he intervened in that situation. We also see Zelsis get more active over towards the A main. Took a kill of his own. And once again, ironing out just a minor audio issue here. Sentinels, of course, know they have a bit of a climb. G2 have been flawless, though, in so many of these rounds. And again, that was a round I'd pin on heroics to some degree from Sentinels. Are the fundamentals going to be there in a long series against their arch nemesis?
That was a cool attempt at that split.
I don't know about the arch nemesis.
The Cosmic Divide purpose to just cut off Zekken on that angle. So him swinging through it, pretty mad, but G2, they've got to feel like that's just not going to come because it is so reckless in a way that it is the perfect timing to do it.
And we're talking about a team last year in VCT who didn't really have the highest of expectations, I think, for them. I mean, fans in general. We saw them had a slower start to the year, but it wasn't long before we realized that G2 were a real, legitimate threat. But they walk out of the year, like you mentioned, with 2 of those second place finishes in Stage 1, Stage 2 respectively. So not able to hoist a domestic trophy, let alone really strike deep into one of those international events. I think their champions finish left something to be desired for them, falling out in 7th to 8th place. Seeing Sentinels, of course, they're in 4th. Leviathan above them even. So in terms of our Americas delegates, G2 are still looking to really sit on the throne internationally.
And that is the expectation from their fans, from the general community. I mean, common sentiment is they are the best team in Americas right now. And a lot of people are arguing that they're the best team in the world heading into Masters if they do make it there.
Wait, Master Bangkok is in
this
2
team
weeks?
has looked fantastic. And it's just come from 2 roster changes and even role swaps over time. You know, when you're talking about at the beginning of last year, Leaf was playing Duelist, and he was putting up numbers. He was always giving them against like 20+ kills on every map that this guy finds.
Like, Master Bangkok is only on 2 weeks?
Team. And then when they swapped him over to the Sentinel,
like, it's in 2 weeks, and like, for 2 weeks, basically.
That's when things really
it's on 2 weekends.
Up for the team, when things began to click, and then you bring in Jaw, world champion.
That's crazy, man.
And all of a sudden, this team should just have gone completely over the top in regard to skill. The IGLing from Val, I mean, has been great for years. Like, this team are expected to be the best we've got.
Audio issues are ironed out, folks, so we are moments away from jumping into round number 8
so
of this
yeah,
first
we have
map
Trace and
of our
EDG.
upper
Oh, you
finals.
only have
Winner
18,
will
yeah,
go to the
that's
grand
cool.
finals. Winner will qualify for Masters Bangkok. So far, G2 have a
Only have
healthy
8
5-round
teams.
lead. Sentinels, though, with a big buy into this round. Cosmic Divide
We have a switch stage in the playoff.
They know where the second AWP is at, and there's a tour de force. Might get that operator battle as Jaws up through mid with the dimensional drift. We saw him get so much value with this last time they tried to go for the B execute. He knows Zekken and John have both retreated.
Surely John has to be ready for this. Jorgamo, in fact, just chooses to emerge from a smoke. Here comes G2 straight up onto this B site.
He even fakes a gate crash forward, so Sen might think he's in that nebula that he's staring at right now. Pop flash out!
He's able to turn it for a time, but it's overwhelming pressure from the low ground. Zelsis with the classic. Okay. Able to find that kill as Zekken gets a rifle instead. Here's an Alchemander. They're going to try and flood out together, but Jonah P! Oh, that's dirty!
Oh, Valin died.
Question mark? We'll let that one slide.
Valin
3
fucking
versus 1
firm.
here for Bang, who is belated in arriving at the site, but it lined up for him somewhat. He'll only take the one.
Oh my god, nerves at the end there. Bang was on such a long rotate that they thought he must have been coming from the flank from their spawn side. He had a real opportunity to get 2 kills there. I think this flash just went completely awry from Zelsis. It blinded, yeah, all 3 of his or that was a counter flash. I can't know for sure.
There was no assist from the flashing players.
That
I don't
was,
think so.
I think
They
the
pick
KO
up the
flash
orb,
going
though.
too high. Regardless, all of Sentinels blinded up. Poor Nere,
Yep.
this has been a miserable start for him.
He's been the one that's been getting so much of that attention up on that B side. Jorg just coming out of nowhere, usually just finding him first somehow, or getting hit with every piece of util in the book and being stunned by the time his foes came calling.
We have a 7-1 Brazil.
Jaw getting so deep on mid, pushed all the way up. That's just a clone. All good. Second, so fast out of B. This is Sen changing the pace.
So that Rolling Thunder is actually headed over towards Tower on the A side of the map, but G2 are definitely gearing up to push through that smoke in A main. Hunter's Fury now being deployed by John. Narrate gets his first of the game. He's in it, folks. Able to find that share of purchase on Jorgamo. This is Sent here with only 2 hero rifles in the round, holding their own. But now G2 are really going to come to call on this A side. An opportunity for Jonah P. Only going to find the one as Zels is really selling the bundle. I'm not going to lie. He is quite good at marketing this classic. That is a ridiculous thrifting from Sentinels. All off the back of the push off the B side by Zekin.
Love that decision from Sen. Flank timing from Zekin is perfect. Into narrate. Prepared for Jaw to have pushed up top mid. Gets the shot off with the share. Finally on the board, as you mentioned. That was a crucial kill to pick up as well. I mean, imagine if Jaw finds one there and then is that presence, the backstab, while the sight hit comes in from the front.
How are they seeing any of these people?
Let's go!
Yeah, there was a good recon in there as well from John. First time playing Sova in this tournament. It's been all Tejo, like you said before. And there were some question marks about his role swap when we came into this season due to performances from Sen in the off season. It was weird to see him on the initiator when you're bringing in narrate. But we'll see if he can find success on all of the important initiator agents to play. Jaw, does he wander into this?
Oh, he swings it wide. The timing there just punishes Zekin. He cannot take the shot, Jorg. Probably knows exactly what he avoided. And G2 have found two big openers. That one on Zelsys is going to hurt.
And narrate in this same horrendous situation. He feels the grip closing on him from all angles. He has to choose a fight somewhere because he knows the wrap is coming in.
Yeah, he was on a clock. He would have been shot in the back of the head had he not chosen to go forward, but either way, the odds were not in his favor.
I was just gonna say.
And just after a round like that, again, which I would pin on Heroics quite happily, they're again put in such an oppressive scenario.
And that is why narrate has struggled so far and has 10 deaths at the moment. It's because G2 have been so good at wrapping around him, trying to anchor on the B site. He has been put in extremely tough situations. It's not like he's just having an bad game right now. G2 are just really exploiting the setup on that site. There needs to be an adjustment from Sen.
They're running out of time in this half, Wyatt. That's the issue. Enough money to still have a full buy in this next round. But again, we are headed into round number 11, and they have only those 2 rounds to their name. Jonah P trying to dot his I's, cross his T's, but Bang is waiting for him. Okay. Not too shabby. You'll notice that G2 aren't exactly swimming in gold coffers.
Still worth going for the hunt, though, with the state of the money that they've got. I mean, Jaw is lights out at the moment.
Magnetic.
One of the things I was thinking about coming into this game,
I can't believe it either.
when we're doing this duelist comparison, is that Jaw hasn't actually needed to be the guy for G2 yet. He's been playing tons of Yoru, fulfilling his role, has had very great utility and ultimates for setting up the rest of his team. But as far as the star performance where he's fragging out, putting up the big numbers, they just have not actually needed him to do that yet. He is turning up right now, though.
And again, you know, we might have expected seeing Sentinels and what they've played so far, Wyatt, to bring Yoru into a map like this as well. And they, alongside G2, have been proponents of, you know, moving in that direction of the double initiator Yoru setup. But instead, some Sen come out with a slightly more classic look, in fact, even foregoing that second initiator. Go for a double controller setup here, and they have been picked apart on so many of these defensive rounds.
The Kaplan is already expending a second time out here, knowing that despite this Sen comp, I think typically, you know, being better on the attack side, you're still not going to win if you can't get at least a few on defense. It's just going to be way too difficult to come back.
It's got to be 4.
They've got to get at least 1 more on the board, minimum here. Full bought into this. Op again for Zekin. Mixed results with that up until this juncture.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, both times he's held a passive line down mid-wide, he has missed. Punished in the most recent example as Jorgamo just ripped in a new one.
Narrate sends Dark Cover over to B Tower so Zekin can prioritize watching main, but at the moment G2, they're not playing around that side of the map. It's slow A control. It's Trent watching for a mid push, maybe out of the timeout. Sen want to do something more proactive, less reactive, but that won't be the case.
I was almost thinking that Sen might want to push off the B site again. They've had some success doing that as a duo. Take flight. But in fact, they are just sitting back.
It's a mid-round re-clear here with the drone, and the aftershock forces him out of it. He didn't even get around the corner. Though obviously that does still give some valuable info, knowing the breach is right there in A main, right?
Yeah, security's about to be smoked out anyway. Trent gets it, Aldrin, he knows there's a player at the back of the site. Here goes Sentinels, they do need to get their ducks in a row. They pulled off the site, so no one's anchoring here so much. Sen setting up for more. Oh, actually, they're coming through security right now, Wyatt.
Yeah,
they're going for an off-timing. Smokes in the way. Now, right, those C's. Jonah up on that higher ground. Jorgs is going to trade it out. John swings in. That's a tough one
Good
to win.
trades for G2.
Set it down to 2. They have to win this round.
Zelsa's trying to find the timing up into heaven. The smoke comes down. That might have saved him, but ultimately it's going to make it more than uncomfortable and less than ideal to get back into this site. Though he does have a flash. He can pop flash out of this. There it is, but oh, it doesn't connect onto Trent.
They have every angle covered, Wyatt. They had security, A main, tower, all eyes on those locations. Okay. Leaf is bombing up there, being a nuisance. Second will punish him for his audacity. But there's not much more that he can do in this round. He has to walk away. He's being chased as well. Trent is right behind him and he knows it. He's heard it.
He needs to hit the shot. They need to save the op into this next round. Trent is jiggling the angles perfectly.
He has no bullets.
He gets punished, gun down. Operator lost.
Even up.
The economy is in a tragic situation for Sen with the timeouts expended.
He didn't have a chance to reload the shorty. I think he pulled it out for a split second and realized that he had to turn tail and run. Oh, that's heartbreaking stuff.
It doesn't matter how good their attack side is going to be. This comeback feels insurmountable. They need this last third round so desperately.
Unfortunately, right now, things are not clicking.
No, they tried to get back into the site with the paranoia.
Why are you running?
But it just didn't end up mattering. Oh, and Leaf punishes the push. Reading that with Ezo G2 and Jojo swinging onto it.
This is only the second time that they've tried it this half. How did G2 read into this? Oh man, that is devastating. Now Sen on their last legs in this round already. A faster pace switch up here for G2 has left them without a leg to stand on.
Trying to play aggressively on defense against this G2 team, you are just wandering into a trap. Leaf is going to have the AWP on the angle. They're going to be ready to re-swing onto you with flashes from Jaw. This is next to impossible for Bang. He gets the first.
It is
All
Joe.
those post-plant positions, though, there's an easy double swing here for G2 with some Jonah Peak U-tool to set it up. Smoke is well placed. Here's that Hunter's Fury now. Bang just doesn't really have the time to get to the spike where he's needed. He's able to dodge that one. Give it a tickle again. Step forward from the smoke and shut down. 10 rounds.
It's an ambitious peak.
G2 clowning on Sen on this map so far. Abyss has looked so clean for them. We didn't know what to expect from Sen, but so far, we're not impressed.
Phenomenal play, working the map from G2, how they exploited mid into the B splits.
Dude, I thought me saying pause would get you like 5 kills.
Were it only that easy. It's a rough start here, an 8-round deficit for Sen, but Riv is standing by with a couple of retirees enjoying the show here at the Riot Games Arena.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am over here with Tens and Tarek. We're just hanging out. Don't need the fire extinguisher just yet, right, guys? Things are semi-okay?
Yeah, no, they're okay. Everything's going according to plan, of course.
Okay, cool. So what was the discussion over here when you guys were thinking what needs to be changed, what needs to be done? 10-2 isn't... It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Okay, I think I speak for the entire community. I think we've just had enough of Abyss. Let alone the fact that Sentinels is getting smoked on this map. It's time to remove Abyss. One in the chat if you want to remove Abyss from the rotation. Please, guys, we're begging you, man.
I agree.
You agree? What needs to change? What? Oh, wait.
Go ahead. I was gonna say Tyson has said. I think Tyson's had some strong opinions at this map of like. Hey, also I want to say sorry to the designer of the map because there is a person that put this together. So to the team, it's nothing personal, but I think you said that you've had some strong opinions about this map in the past, right?
What are you feeling?
This is not our map. Needs to go.
Oh, that's the feel?
Yeah.
That's definitely gonna nail a designer's feelings. Okay, so feeling that this isn't going your way, that's not the little bro curse, how are they gonna come back?
I think it's a go next map angle for sure.
It's a go next map angle?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look, I would love to see a comeback, but I just don't think Abyss is it for us. I'm just kidding. Go Sentinels. We got
Tens,
this.
you've been in there. What are they thinking? You know what the comms are flying through that team.
I mean, honestly, we sell more bundles, so I think we win.
It's going to be about the bundles, the vibes, the merchants. You just got to keep it up. Everybody in chat, keep the ones coming. We're going to see if Sen can keep the win coming right now as we get back into the match.
Yeah.
I do want to suggest
I don't know.
that about 40% of Zels's kills have been with the Sen Classic. So that is definitely something worth mentioning. However, do they make up such a big deficit? I mean, when Tarek's calling it to go next map, that's worrying, but Sen City have turned up in force today to try and bolster their roster. Let's see what they've got for us here on his attack side.
Zels is hoping after this round, maybe a full third of his kills on the board could come from the Classic. They desperately need this pistol. It feels hilarious to say that in a situation like this, but obviously must win. Well, good luck.
It's the same. Just reversed. Leaf able to find a first kill with a headhunter from Catwalk in the first round of the game. Groundhog Day out here.
Trent feels the pressure from the 0 point, so he just gets out. Time to play for a nice little retake. We've got the Breach. We're going to excel in a situation like this.
Sen really want to try and overload in the security direction, but G2 are more than happy to contain them until they're ready to try and retake this. Slowly, Leafy's making his way on the flank, and Zekin takes a bunch of spray through. Valen there gets the drop on him with some free damage. And it's such a nuisance around that corner. Trent's there, eventually Valen falls off that cliff. But what about the defuse? What about the objective? The game plan here for Sentinels. Jorg might be here to disrupt it once more, but John from below. Zelsis with that off angle. They are making it hard for G2 to get back in here. Sentinels have really taken control of this site. Trent for one. He's had 3 in the round, but there's just no time to go for a defuse at this rate. And Zekin, you better believe, will keep himself scarce until it's time to strike. And away he goes. Sentinels get a crucial third on the board. That's how they had to start this half.
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel like Tarek. This might just be a go next type play for... Oh, wait, I mean, well, we'll see.
What?
They've got, I mean, it's a decent enough start. I'm a little worried still. Leaf's positioning in mid is going to be quite troublesome.
Takes a lot to convince you, Dr. River.
I'm still worried, man. I'm still worried.
Boys, let's go.
That push into spawn was pretty good, but it required some pretty miraculous timings and some great shots from Zelsis.
Bulldogs and Guardian here for Zekin. Sentinels now have an opportunity to try and make hay while the sun shines. Another round here would be a huge step forward.
They need a clean conversion here, Sentinels. They're working into A main. They're going to have to deal with Trent. That's the lone player, and he's just got a Classic. This should be an easy cleanup.
Made the right call, Sentinels. It's like a very elaborate 3-stack flash setup over a B that now must be dismantled and moved. Like a... Okay. Bang able to win that out. It was Jorg pushing up on that B side still. There's going to be more push from Valen there, but elsewhere. G2 need to get in position. Drop down from security. Johnny's there. And the jaws of the Bulldog will have their fill.
Yeah, that is Trent just trying to find the timing, gets punished. Bang on the long rotate back. Should be easy cleanup unless Leaf can maybe find a kill with that headhunter. Still has 4 bullets in the chamber.
Not too shabby here from Sen. Slow the pace down, of course. Yet to even plant until about 40 seconds into that round. Fast hit over to the A side. Leaf again strikes with that headhunter like you alluded to, but I think for the rest of G2, they take the honorable way out.
Yeah, and in that situation, Leaf getting 1 is ultimately pretty irrelevant since one of the players, that was Bang, just had the ghost, so he's able to retrieve the Bulldog. If Sen can win this bonus, I'm going to start to believe. This comp should be better on the attack side. This is a crucial round, though.
This was the push-up here by Jorgamo. But obviously the action here was over towards this A site. A couple of moments there from G2, but Sentinels here, like they said in that first round win, brick by brick, have themselves the bonus now. Zels is having quite the map, all things considered. Here's Bang, the one of the fault line. Pressure, and Jorg gets him. I don't know if they realized Zekin was back there behind that cloud burst, but he takes a big hit as well.
That was a great aggressive play to throw in the mix from G2. Fault line into the flash. That's that first kill, and now Zekin wants to get back on that line. Low HP with the Guardian in hands. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to how Sen are using these smokes to try and exploit mid, push up. It's tough to play that part of the map typically, but when you have the smokes covering up those multiple angles, you can get those nice contact walks, get up close.
Kind of the incentive for playing this double controller style. Okay, slow around here for Sentinels, much more of a G2-esque pace. Starting now to inch their way up towards that B site. Jorg's having to take the shot. He gets a lot of information there. Zekin's still quite low, and John ends up falling. That's just sprayed through the wall by the looks of things. Flash to play off of Leaf capitalizes, and Zekin is down, and Sen starting to fall apart. Zelsis is not in a position to have a real impact in terms of advancing their win condition. And it's up to Narade, who always seems to be alone against a horde. And a flawless round for G2. That is a gut punch for Sen, who were just trying to build back into the game.
And it really just comes off the back of that early round aggressive play, pushing down out of B, and then after the fact, comfortable to continue anchoring the sites while Sen are a man down. Right here, that swing off the fall line. Second forced to retreat. Oh my God, that is a ridiculous shot. This is Jaw in peak form right now.
Trent also having another fantastic game. I don't know what it's been about Kickoff for him, but he has been incredible. All right, Sen, of course, with that pretty smoke-heavy composition, can chop up the map a little bit and move up like they are now.
Yeah, they've got that Nebula and the dark cover, right? So here it is, the contact walk up after the recon.
More smokes.
Playing towards that vent door, just wants to keep an eye on it. And look at the rotation. This is forcing from G2. They have to pick up far more passive angles at this point.
Yep. You get top mid basically for free, Wyatt. Okay, this could be a little bit dicey. I like the idea. The trend is going to end up going down. Here comes that null command now. Zelsa's getting serious about hitting this A site. No one really proximate for G2 to stop them moving through A main. Much of the fight is going to happen through these leaks here. Valen for one. The jump isn't enough for Narade. He eventually gets caught out. 3 for each to work with. Leaf now trying to get into tower. Zelsa's ready for him, but Leaf is far too canny to overexpose himself.
He's playing this so well, Leaf, but Zelsa's still able to fight it. That is crucial. That should be the round winner. Talk about an impact kill.
And that Nova Pulse, it's too late to catch Zelsis out. Now, G2 might have to draw upon some heroics of their own. Tap of the spike, presumably for Jorgamo here. Valen has to be aware of what's going over in main, and of course, his Astra setup means the post plant is hard to play through. Half comes up for Valen! What?
It's over.
That is unreal! Far from done, Zelsis with a third, but Jorg, how does he get the defuse, man? That is just
What the fuck is Zelsis doing?
Just able to stick the spike, the accuracy from Valen. One of the best IGL fraggers that we have in the game. Sick two-piece.
Heartbreaking.
That kill from Zelsis in vent, that really should have been the round winner. Able to pressure from the flank because...
Why is Zelsis not
the
there?
is so brutal that John
Like,
is
what is he looking at?
So then by the time he re-swings, Valen picks up that second angle. If he had the gun out, which, look, he can't know that. I mean, that's just so tough, such a tough timing.
It's just plot armor. G2 shrug off another close round here for Sen, and now obviously the map winner is here. Sen just bullied their way out of the A site and bowled Jonah P over in the process. Didn't have any backup to rely on at the time. John, despite being Nova Pulse, is able to get a plant down. Shock dart up to tower. Gatecrash being deployed over towards tower as well here by Jorgamo. Give him a place to fall back to. And actually gets blown up instead. Clone gives him the flash. Leaves it with a headhunter. Numbers are even now again. Bang probably feeling a little bit exposed here on that side. Zelsa 0 point though gives him the info, and John whacks him down. Sen not giving up yet.
There we go, playing in front of that cosmic divide together, getting deeper in the site to set up some crossfires. Zelsis is playing lights out right now, I'll tell you that. Despite Sen, their woes on this map only having 5 rounds, he's got the most kills in the server, sitting at 18.
That was a nice little moment there from John. As well, after 0 pointing up towards that tower side, they knew. A couple players waiting for a swing there, and that was just a very fast hit from Sentinels, as opposed to previous attack side rounds, where they've just slowed the pace down and been slowly unraveled.
They forced G2 onto the eco. Leaf, however, with the tour de force, wants to end the game now.
Before those sails start to swell too much. The Sentinels sloop.
Valen feeling pressure, needs to put down that Nebula, wants to play in it. Oh my god, that is a sick angle, but Second finds the first kill.
And he's all over the site now. Sentinels well and truly in there. A late wrap here from Leaf, but bear in mind the weaponry for G2 is just not there. So might get themselves another now. Recon does tag.
I think you just...
Goes low. Decent pressure from Trent. In upper. Leaf
Oh, they have the
lead
teammates.
Hoping to take a bit more away from it. But getting onto the side is a whole different story. Jonah P. Trent still stacked up here. Still have to try and make a way in with these pistols. Okay.
That's the up down.
Celsius gets dropped by Leaf. That was an operator, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. Oh!
For your economy, man! That is disgusting!
God!
That power ace comes up for Leaf. Yay, lets the round go, but Sen.
And Jonah P saved the weapon too.
Remember, of course, for the first ace of the week, iBuy Power giving away a PC. Following that, $100 Riot gift card, $100 in iBuy Power rewards for every ace. Follow at iBuy Power on socials. Hashtag unlock your ace.
That is one of the most outrageous yet least consequential aces I've ever seen. Though I will, listen, that's some good stat padding for Leaf, who once again is dropping minimum 20 every map so far in Kickoff. That was crazy.
I mean, the whole site is littered with those trademark oil fields. I don't know what's going anywhere. Okay. Let's just calm it down a little bit, shall we? Sentinels, of course, still can buy for the most part. I think Zekin's banking off getting an orb here.
Yeah, he threw the rifle over to, I believe, Zelsis. They need to recover that orb so he can get the Blade Storm ready. Center gathered up towards B. Jaw on the close angle.
What a sickening round that was.
Does have the gate crash to get away from here after he takes that first engagement.
Jorgamo knows his first shot needs to be good. Narrate just TPing pretty deep here. It's actually going to stick it. So Sentinels very much set up on this B side behind this Astral Divide.
Has to use 2 teleports. A little bit unfortunate if he's in a situation where he wants to get away. John has a Hunter's Fury, though, for this post plant.
I mean, I'd be scared now if there's some flood util to deal with. Narrate doesn't have an option to get out. Okay, Jordan, that's a little bit audacious, I'll be honest with you. Pops out of that dimensional drift, and here come the Sentinels now. Some punishment for G2. A little bit lax on this round.
I saw him in the smoke.
Not quite airtight. And a flawless round for Sentinels, keeping their head above the surging tides.
Yeah, you said it. Rare moment where the fundamentals are off for G2. A bit of life for Sentinels.
Yeah, they're playing a bit too sloppy, though.
Trying to get out of the dimensional drift with that Hunter's Fury ringing off from Trent. But the timing just isn't there. That's 2 ults, 2 big ults gone now for G2. And the economy.
Nice, boys, let's go!
In tatters again.
Zelsis to get excited about, for sure.
He's keeping that energy up, as always.
Narrate's been under so much pressure this game. Had to deal with the emerging Jorgamo. But he handled it cleanly.
You've got Jaw pressed pretty far forward on B. Leaf taking contact for him. But it's slow from Sen at the moment.
We're talking Outlaw and a single hero rifle outside of that for G2. They have to take their foot off the gas in this round.
And Leaf would have to hit
Headshots.
2 shots connected, or a headshot to actually get a kill with that Outlaw. No one from Sen on light armor.
Jorg, of course, the one with the rifle.
Here.
Playing up here on coast, and that's the ping. They know that there's something afoot over on the B side, but Sen are pulling out of that part of the map. Valen on this walk up might get a lot of value here. That Recon's not going to spot him out. He can wrap this corner. But looks like Sen are grouping for a full A run.
Yeah, Valen is hearing the footsteps, so G2, they're trying to beat them over towards A. Null command popped off. That'll stop Jonah from getting any breach util in here.
Well, Valen also can't make use of that Astra util. He got caught out by that Null command and suppressed. But second is down. Professor P from up on high. Oh my
subs the plant.
Narrate perforated as he tries to go for a plant. And Sentinels only have 2 left to work with. Jonah P stays off the aggression now as a clone drops down. Zelsis realizes it. Flash follow it up. Jorgamo with the rifle still. a real threat. Where's the plant coming from? John has to put it down now, but a fault line is going to interrupt. He still has to stick it, eventually take it down, and it's on Zelsis. Up to him in a 1 versus 3 to salvage the game for Sentinels. Professor P puts the period on the sentence, and G2 will claim Abyss.
At the end of the day, that just comes down to their excellence on defense. Sen, they have a comp that certainly will be better on the attack side look, but the rounds they got, just 2, it's not going to be enough, even with a pistol round win. Insurmountable lead, but at least a bit of momentum coming their way with Zelsis in particular playing excellent on that map despite the loss. They're going to Pearl, that's their map pick next. And at least now it's feeling a bit more competitive, but this run of G2 winning maps with ease continues. 5 in a row, and 5 in a row where Leaf has dropped minimum 20 kills. Outlandish.
The guys cannot be stopped. Some ridiculous moments in this game, an odd map as well. Especially seeing where Sentinels found their strength. Zelsis has had a great showing in general. We saw the ceiling of Sentinels at times, but I've got to say the floor of G2 felt like it was much, much higher consistently over the course of this map. They showed their dominance, and moments like this, flashes of brilliance, heroics as they've been dubbed. Yes, they've given Sentinels a little bit to work with, but that's just not enough against a team like this. G2 aren't rattled so easily.
Yeah, that G2, they were so good at exploiting mid on that attack side, wrapping all the way around to hit the beast. Like the anchors over there were struggling so hard. It was just a fantastic game plan, but then they need to rally back on their pick.
We're gonna step away, and up next, Golden Boy in the analyst desk will break down a ridiculous map number 1 in this best of 3. Winner, of course, goes to Bangkok.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Oof, stuck paying for that old phone? Don't be. You know, at Verizon, we'll pay off your phone. And you'll get iPhone 16 on us. That's a value of up to $1,600, only on Verizon.
G2 doing enough to slow it down. Lee's timing is impeccable.
Silent all over, and second swings backside, gets 3.
I am here with Josh RT before the next map. I got to ask you, the consistency, even though just a few games we've seen from the team so far, it's been so good. How is the team taking control of games so fast? What's the focus, and what are you able to pinpoint in your opponents?
I think it's all about being confident in like what we're want to do in each round. Identify like what the enemy is trying to do, and just figure out a solution for it. Yeah, we just try to keep a humble approach, because we know like things can get out of hand really quickly in this game. So it's just staying on our toes and just like always play the game that's in front of us, really.
Confidence, calm, cool, collected. It's bringing in the wins. Best of luck in the next games.
Well, it's clear G2 figured it out in most of those rounds. A dominant start to their series here, and now just one map away from Masters Bangkok. I'm Mimi, and I'm joined by a very special guest now, MCE, former coach of Cloud9, now coach of Maryville Esports. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, an incredible first match from G2 there. They've looked so good all tournament, and this dominant win on Abyss. What impressed you the most from watching that game?
I think a lot of what you watch in G2 and what stands out is not only are their players very good mechanically, but the decisions they make in rounds are incredible. One of the last rounds you saw Valen push through completely, didn't over push, and had the entire information for the rotate. Every single player on that team is capable of that. They're all extremely high IQ players, and they just have such good trap plays and fundamentals and things set up from the coaching staff that, I mean, G2 looks great. And, you know, their Abyss has been great. They've been amazing on everything so far.
Yeah, they've looked outstanding. But one of those high IQ players you're talking about is Leaf, who you coached during your stint with Cloud9 and VCT Americas, and before that, very early in his career on Chaos Esports Club. Talk to me about your time working with Leaf. What makes him special as a player?
I mean, you see some of these players and you get to work with, you know, younger guys that come up and they haven't like had any experience. And people like Trent, people like Leaf, people like, you know, these kids that come up, they just do things and you're like, you know, why would you do something like that? And they're like, oh, I saw this, this, and this, or I heard these 3 comms put together in the round where everyone was. And they make decisions so quickly that it's crazy to follow. Like they just have almost like an intuition for the game that it just makes it so easy on them and their teammates that they can put everything together without seeing everything in a round. And it's a rare attribute to have. And you see a lot of the top players are just, you know, kids like this now.
Yeah, Leaf has been described by other people who've played with him before as someone who adds a lot in game, is a very vocal player, but also someone who watches a ton of VODs, is spending a lot of time just watching Valorant outside of the game. How much does Leaf add in terms of the ideas into the game, the comps teams are running, and all of that behind the scenes?
I mean, I think one thing Leaf gets some flack for is he doesn't play the game that much, like outside of practice, and he likes to play other games. Like he's just extremely talented. He does work hard, but like he doesn't put in 150 ranked games, you know, every 3 weeks. But what he does when he's playing other games, when he's playing ranked, when he's playing DM, he'll just have a matchup that he's watching, like while he's doing other things. And because of that, he sees so many different things. He'll watch, you know, other people's streams. He'll watch all these different sources of information to put those things together because he identifies like what he likes. He's like, yo, coming into practice, I saw this really cool trap that Team Heretics did, or like Benji's doing this cam. Like, why do we think this cam is good? I think it's because of this. We should definitely try this out. And having a player like that is a, you know, dream situation, especially for an IGL like Valen, that Jake can just sit there and trust everything Nathan's saying inside of a round because he's like, yo, I think they're doing this trap. I'm going to try to take B space. And you see everyone in this G2 team just have that kind of knowledge. And part of that is because they all watch things, they work hard, and they have a great coaching staff.
Well, thank you so much, MC. Clearly, Leaf, an excellent attribute to his team. If you want to check him out, make sure you're watching Collegiate Valorant as well with Maryville Esports. Thank you so much for joining me, MC.
Thanks for having me. It was great to be back.
Let's check in with our other coach now, Kaplan with Sentinels, and hear his thoughts ahead of map number 2.
I am joined by Kaplan after Abyss. Looking at how in previous games we've seen how fast the team can adapt and organize themselves. What do you think prevented them from doing that against G2 in map 1, and what are you looking forward to map 2?
Yeah, I think we started a little cold, and I think that's all right. We're a team that's still working out some issues in matches and on stage. G2 are an incredible team, and it's a big game. It's we got a chip on our shoulder, and we want to go to Bangkok. I think there's a little more pressure than usual. We started a bit cold, but hey, it's their pick. I'd rather start cold on their pick than ours. You know, I asked them what's the score, and they know the answer is 0-0. We plan to play 3 different maps. We plan to beat them on the next 2. So.
All right, Kaplan. Thank you for the insight. Best of luck.
Thank you for joining us.
Every single series for Sentinels here in our 2025 kickoff has gone to 3 maps. This one is going to be no exception if they have any hope of qualifying here and now for Masters Bangkok, getting into our grand finals.
And how have all those series gone for G2 so far? 2-0, 2-0, and right now it's 1-0. But we are headed to Sen's map pick Pearl, where they've been playing a hell of a lot of Tejo. That's what John has been on the entire tournament up until that last map. And really, that was the first time we saw Sen playing. Now, obviously, Double Controller is a little unorthodox, but still playing a lot of the default Abyss agents that we saw prior when it came in 2024. But for everything else, all the other maps, we're looking at these 2 teams as 2 of the teams that are trying to push the meta forward. They are playing the new agents a lot of Tejo, a lot of Vice, and a lot of Chamber in the case of Leaf. We saw this double Sentinel comp from G2 just tear Leviathan apart. Sen, though, they've got the VOD footage. They can get answers to this.
Both teams have shown us a fair bit of their Pearl play style. This is the expected Sentinels composition. Tejo for John QT again, who's obviously spent most of his kickoff on this particular agent. Again, probably like one of the players with the highest number of kills just off the salvos, so been very good. But some criticism that, you know, Sen have drawn is that they play these really intricate compositions with a lot of moving parts, Wyatt. And what let them down against Loud, especially in the first half of that series, was that the fundamentals kind of weren't there. They were too busy just spamming util with their guns put away. We want to see that fundamental, that floor rise to meet this occasion, as G2 definitely no slouches in that department.
Yeah, when this machine of Sentinels with this utility dense comp is working at its best, though, it is phenomenal. It is so tough to deal with the barrage of initiator util that they have on offer. They want to fight for A early, G2 meeting them, but ultimately routed due to those guiding salvos. You just have to get out of the way. That's what they do.
G2 also no presence here towards Art or Connector there. So it is just going to be the 2-player crossfire over on the A side for the time being. The Ray playing very far back, and there is going to be some movement here in the other side of that mid door.
Curious to see if Jaw wants to get even more proactive, try and push past that door.
There is a trademark here outside of Art. It's going to be smoked out, though. Here comes Sentinels working on this A site. Now they're going to get activated in A main as well. Arkrose is going to flash Trent out, but he's still going to set this one up, trying to get information with a recon, but Sentinels are way too fast. They break upon them like waves on rock. And now they're sat in this side proper. Leaf gets picked off there as the smoke clears. Jorg is good for only the 1. And Jonah P, a spectator in this round so far.
Spike planted.
Will have a chance to get involved with Sentinels with a late re-clear through Art and then a very quick A-side take. It's a pace that G2 were not ready for.
Absolutely not. It was that smoking of the trademark and then walking up to the site, hitting the gas. Trent, you know, wanted to make a play off of this recon, but they just swing right into him. The flash as well disrupts Valen's ability to get the kill on Zek and trade that out. One of my big takeaways from this round 2, good to see Narrate start with a 3-piece. He was in so many tough situations, map 1.
We did it!
The vibes are back. I think Narrate really needed that.
Yeah.
He's an ultra-talented player, was a prospect in Tier 2, played in VCT over in Europe last year, now back on NA soil. He's got to get into the mix. He does on round 1. Dink onto Leaf, and he's forced to retreat.
Yeah, Leaf was hoping to intervene there as the orb was once again secured. And John might just be left here towards the A side. There's no attempt for G2 to push up, or they can't really push up on A because of that early Teo util that gets thrown at them. It forces them right into the back of the map and more of a big biased setup.
And with that gate crash heading over towards A, you can fully expect Zekin to make some noise over towards B, and then just teleport away back to the rest of the squad, who are going to have to deal with Leaf, but a very, very low HP Leaf.
Zekin is 1 orb away from Dimensional already. There's the drone. Zekin here, gate crash over towards this A side. They're going to hit it hard, and instantly Leaf already plucked out of the mix. So once again, an open side here for Sentinels. G2's gamble doesn't stand up under scrutiny.
I think that stealth drone even actually got the suppress on Leaf, so he couldn't teleport away. Just caught trying to retreat into Flowers. It's all classics for G2. Sen would love to have a clean bonus round, bring 4 Bulldogs into it.
Well, let Zekin go roaming here. A little bit of extra cash.
And live or die, he's going to get the dimensional drift for the bonus round. There it is. And why not stat pad as well?
Time to jump. Every orb has been funneled to Zekin. Gate crashing across the map to secure them both.
And look at this, they're just trying to optimize these alt orbs. Now Narrate is on the hunt, trying to find the G2 players over in spawn.
I love that. Get him an early nightfall here if possible. One won't spot anything. Out of order it goes. His alt orbs just vaporize right before him.
All good. I like that Sen are locked in on that level, though.
Yeah.
That shows you that their heads are in the game, despite map 1 being an
I mean, it's their map pick. I don't know why G2 leave them attack sign.
Was Leaf? We are proper orb maxing here, Wyatt.
Turn is like 55% attack. It's a T side and not
start as well. 2 of the teams that have
in
really
NA.
loved running this Yoru, positioning it as the best duelist in the meta in their opinions, respectively.
So giving
Here's Leaf, though. Early
the
outlaw.
T sign
Pressed up into
of
A.
burn
Hey, Leaf is here. I imagine
to Sen when it's their map pick, meaning that G2 has the side selection.
Okay, gets in there with the Bucky. Leaf is down.
Seems a bit weird.
Forced back now by those salvos that come a little bit later from John. And the man himself is going to creep up on this site.
And that haunt not being broken allows Sen to just walk in. They know they can scale into the site for free. Spike planted in the open. How do they position here? They want to go towards Art together.
It's going to be the counter flood.
And now they're just waiting as well. John doesn't have his utility yet, but they want those guided salvos to cycle to deny a plant after the grab wheel goes off. G2 have to tap this. They have to get the util out.
Here's the horde coming down that was destroyed straight away. Rays of Iron also could not be deployed. Sentinels peer in here. They're just going to contact check this. Narain's able to get 1 though. He's had a decent game to start with. The defuse, of course, the Teo util is going to be there. Valor's still standing. It's up to John. All up to John. Trent drops. John here with the ghost. Spray on Valen, it's got to half, and Valen's able to win it out. It's about as close as it gets. And G2 get on the board.
It's costly, but
Valen, 34 HP remaining.
You need to win
Significant
those
damage dealt by Sentinels, who worked into that side beautifully off the dimensional drift, that early ultimate that Zekin acquired, getting all the kills on the prior 2 rounds.
Seat of your pants type stuff there. And Sentinels end up kind of, seeding that site to G2, allow them to come in and hope to flood with some form of util, but it also to get shut down, and they've got to just contact swing into the site.
Bear in mind, obviously, that was just the bonus for Sen. This is their full buy. They want to fight towards A main again. Haunt going up top. Leaf on the angle flashed up, and that's going to force him to use that teleport, get out to safety. A main is now controlled by Sen.
They might just leave the loose end of Bank here for the time being.
Yeah, just insert him, control that space. All the while, try and get a bit deeper into mid. Zelsa's pressed up towards the doors, the spike working towards Art.
Trent sees Sentinels just ambling back into Plaza only now, so can obviously surmise that they previously were thick over towards the A side and pulled out.
Now G2 could definitely feel that there may be an A split looming with that Prowler going through Art and getting control of A main early or Sen, right? But now pressuring towards Link. I like how they're working the map here. They're keeping G2 guessing.
Okay, Jorg is containing them though. He's actually going to go back into the corner that previously was targeted by the salvo.
This is a beautiful pivot from John QD. Great calling off that B Link pressure. Drew Trent away. They just have to break this trip. There it goes. Getting into the A site now. Oh, the pressure on Valen. Nightfall coming through.
Now all of his secrets going to be laid bare now. They know the Valen is going to be tucked here by Dugout. That's just a clone, he knows it. Flash here, Zek trying to work his way around the corner. Lead gets his first of the game though. Forced to play from behind the grab wheel for now. Celsius aware there could be a wrap and it's a pretty quick one for Jorgamo. Not the range you want to be at with that Stinger, but still good damage done onto Celsius now as Leaf is snarled up amongst that Razorvine. The Professor though deals with the Mastermind. And it's all on Celsius here to hold the fort of this post plant. The Razorvine again giving him a little bit of breathing room, but G2 swing him. And Lee finds his first 3 of the game in stunning style.
That was such a great mid-round pivot from Sentinels as well. The way they worked the map there was really fantastic. Drawing Trent back over towards B. The site mostly vacant aside from Valen, who was really entrenched over towards Dugout. It's the shots from Leaf that end up making the difference. And just spray through from Jonah. Oh my god, this thing, it just feels effortless when you're watching him. He's never trying too hard to get kills. He really is just letting the game come to him, and he's not missing shots.
Genuinely cool-headed couple of rounds there for G2. Sentinel still on some vestigial currency.
Yeah, just by virtue of getting the spike down again, right? Early A main control. Same as round 4. Last time they left a bang there to just keep a watchful eye while they work the map elsewhere.
This time, no Leaf though over towards A main for the defenders. He is set up here with Jorg towards mid doors.
Yeah, this is how G2 set up their first pistol round actually, with the Jaw Leaf duo right there. And Leaf with that Outlaw does have a couple 125 HP, light armor targets to one shot. That's Bang and John QT.
The narrowest of gaps. Get something here, the reaction time, not quite there. Zelsis with the punish. Goes quite low himself, one of the few 150 health players on the field. Prowler comes in. Jorg has to stave off all of this frustrating util from Narrate.
He really wants to pay back the favor, find that trade. At the very least, gets some valuable utility out of Narrate right there. You know, the Prowler expended. Sen have gathered up, though, for the B hit. After Zelsis is able to find that kill with the high bullet penetration from the Guardian. They'll have to deal with the sheer wall. They want to get this procced ASAP.
Second, of course, knows this. He would like to get into halls and be a bit of a nuisance, but Jonah P is going to see that gate crash coming. He might have to give some of that space up now. Here come the salvos. Razorvine also going to be deployed. C's committed to that as well. Jorg's on the corner, though. Jorg's on the corner!
Holy shit.
4-4, the Jorg set up on the swing. Now Celsius has got nothing left to do.
Oh, Trent.
Steals the ace. But I think the point is the same. G2 dismantle Sen's all-out push.
Time dwindled so low for Sen. That is tragic.
Bro, you are calling a timeout instantly after that.
Insane lineup. Oh, Neri trying to get in for the trade as well. He didn't even move his mouse. Knock the dominoes down.
I just had a feeling about that. Seeing Jorgamo in the corner. Well, I'll tell you what, so much of the narratives was, hey, G2 don't need Jorgamo to pop off to win these games, but when he does, just incidentally, I don't think they're going to be complaining.
This has definitely been Jaw's best series so far with the G2 team in kickoff. Phenomenal stuff.
It's frustrating for Kaplan because those first couple of Sen rounds obviously went off the pistol. They're working their way towards a bonus, fair enough. But it's in the post plant that the wheels tend to fall off. When Sen have those pretty fast hits, they slow down the tempo so much in that round. And they know what they're going up against. They know they've got to deal with the Vice util. They know they have to hit the side through the Seas wall, but they've got the Tejo to keep so much of the defenders at bay, but they don't account for Jorgamo.
What's frustrating for Sen is that they've had good mid-rounding. 2 rounds ago, that pivot that John called going over to A with the site only having one player, then they end up losing post plant. there, the real mistake was letting time get so low against the Vice. They have to wait out the wall, so when they actually get into that execute together, they have so much to cover in such a short period of time that Jaw really just goes unnoticed when the focus was on Jonah P playing back halls. So tough. So tough. Zekin has the Sheriff into this round. The only weapon of any note for Sen.
Okay, different setup here. This time for G2, they've actually sent Leaf over towards Art. Just hold a contact angle. And Sen do fight a little bit for A. Probably not expecting to be allowed to get so far. That probably tells them that the chamber is not on the A site right now.
At the moment, G2, they don't have to do a thing. You have Jonah jump peeking over at B long, spotting nothing out. Passive angle being held from Leaf. Outlaw again. Definitely the player taking the most advantage of this weapon right now in Americas 2025. Has Art on lock.
Yeah, Sen are very wary of Art, and the double swing just doesn't give them any catharsis. Leaf has one bullet for each of them. Jorgamo's going to give them some room here now. Let them trundle straight down Link. And the Razor of Iron does nothing to catch him.
Just another example in the long line of them in Kickoff so far.
We're doing this again, guys. Oh, I love that. Okay, beautiful little high-low. Zekin actually just swung that from the off angle. Right, so away we go. Outlaw to hand here for Narrate. He's picked that one up at 3 plays here for Sen. 17 seconds left in the round. They're going to go for the plant. Once again.
Oh, what?
Clone whistles past. Narrate takes damage from God knows where. It's going to be Zekin to find Valen though. Trent is tucked in here. He can stand in the safe zone though between those two salvos. But it needs to be impactful. John! Beautifully done. Sen bundle once more striking. And Steltron is going to check water. Won't have enough time to wrap though towards Flowers.
Oh, that timing.
Oh, Judgeable with the first and up too fast, second too low on HP.
Still, the matter of the defuse is at hand. Narrate is going to have to do it again. Feels like him against the world. Straight through the corner of the masonry. Jorgamo goes down. Jonah is healthy though. Looking to get this to half. Narrate sees him. And it's a shot through the jugular to claim the round. Another hard-fought one for Sentinels. But they breathe still.
Zekin out of thin air manifests a round win from nothing, less than nothing, 3 versus 5. I was ready to go on a little diatribe about how Leaf is letting the game come to him yet again and just getting these free kills, holding angles. Well, he got his 2, but oh my god, man, how does Zekin bring that back? Outrageous. And it's putting G2 in a dangerous situation economically here with multiple players below 1K. So many ults on the board for both teams in a pivotal round 7.
Yeah, tour de force though here for Leaf. So can play similarly. Jorgamo pushed up here in A main yet again. Hunter's Fury comes out. So much of this early util. Oh, Zekin! I thought he might have had that one, but Valen was ready and Trent finds one with the Hunter's Fury. Aldo is going to check over towards Connector, spots 2 Sentinels players. And he's at Steel Garden. G2 disarmed for the time being. They've got to give this space up.
That forces Trent out, but they can play for the retake. They have a Cosmic Divide as well to cut off one of the crucial angles when getting back in. Bang stuck on default. Narrate far forward. Those 2 players have to go off, and Narrate gets the first.
Down to 33, but he might be able to take that space up here over towards Flowers. There's nobody else there from G2. They're all trying to come in from Secret. There's that retake wall coming down now. Narrate has the wrap. He has a golden opportunity to send this one out to the fences. It's just Valen standing. Now on the 1 versus 2, but this is carpeted in utility. 31 points of health. He'll go through the wall. Absolutely unhinged stuff from G2's IGL, and bang, he's in just the right spot.
Narrate has come to life, rejuvenated after map 1. He is determined to show that what happened over on Abyss is nowhere near his standard. This is lights out. That first duel win against Jonah, mega impact.
And he just happens to call the 3-1 split between Flower and Secret. He knows he can get through there. That's instrumental.
And Bang clutches things out.
Nice! Marsh, what a fucking... Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Well, we tried to cut that off as fast as we could. Well, NT, I guess.
Yeah, win some, you lose some. Timeout here for G2, of course, as Wyatt alluded to. Their money was in a precarious position coming into that round anyway. Sentinels to string another beauty together.
And at that, Sen will be even more happy. Cherry on top that they got a couple ults out from G2, the Hunter's Fury. And in their hands for the next buy after this round 8 where G2 are ecoed, they still have a Nightfall Cosmic Divide and an Armageddon. This is a situation for them where they can run away with the half. They need to have a pretty clean anti-eco here though. Their money is certainly not out of the woods yet. A few players below 1K.
And that is a pretty incredible stat. Half the time able to win those 4v5s. It's a pretty ridiculous comeback rate. So don't count Sentinels out if they come into the mid-round short-handed. Okay, it looks like we are gambling on the A side for G2. Sen wasting pretty little time despite being into an anti-eco.
Sen will be happy that they don't have to deal with the shear here either. It was placed by Jonah P over towards the B link. So they'll be able to get into this site with ease, and they're actually just going to go for the safe plant as well. You know, due to that economic situation we discussed, they want to keep this round as clean as possible.
Yeah. Draw G2 out into the sunlight, force them to expose themselves to the longer sight lines that are being held, and John QT sees Valen's head pop through the wall and instantly will puncture it.
Yeah, now they can just retreat and play for spam. Jojimo falls off the aggressive play, and only Leaf remains.
Zelsis does not take that gate crash seriously. He expects it to be cancelled, but has a reaction, of course, to whip around and take the kill. And all things considered, as far as anti-ecos go, this is what Sentinels were looking for. There would have been a tough correction for Leaf to have made, and Zelsis will get out of the rounds.
This is the first time really in any maps that G2 have played in this tournament that they are not in the driver's seat early, that they are starting to feel the walls close around them. This is so dangerous. Now this is where Sen can run around in the run away with the half, excuse me, this next gun round.
Like you mentioned, they actually still kept, of course, those key ultimates into this gun round, with the exception of that Cosmic Divide to make a safe post-plant setup for themselves in round 8.
Yeah, which is more than well worth it when you see that all of their players have, you know, thousands of credits at this point each. Early on, double initiator drones used. It was a Prowler into B-Link from Sen as well as that stealth drone from John. And that's going to insert Zekin a bit deep towards B.
This is a classic setup, right? You've got your Yoru pushing A. And of course the long line being held by your chamber. That was a clone.
No, but the
Leaf
ult,
has to give up that line briefly. Narrate just glides across into the crosshairs for Jonah.
I think that's gonna condition the
there for the professor, gives him that
the
early
push.
kill.
Unfortunately, that
towards
was
A
a
for
nightfall
Sen.
as well. That's now removed from this buy round.
Sen thinking about art now. Trenton Valen with a pseudo high-low. They are going to filter their way in. Here comes the flash. That's turned down. Goes
wow.
the line though with Sen. They want to punish him. Now they're going to be smoked off the situation. Caution to the wind. Into a link, G2 go. Shock darts herald their arrival, but John found Trent. Jonah had his teammate at his back, picked off, and they're not ready for the second. And Jog is waiting for them over on the A site. It's up to Bang.
30 seconds left.
30 seconds to play. Spike is still over towards Link. And the TP across the side. Bang goes boom, and G2. They silence the room.
Trent being the human drone there, just a piece of bait, getting the information, and then also making Sen think, surely another player won't be pushing out of this smoke, and Jonah has the perfect flank timing.
I think it's clear. Why wouldn't you?
Surely there won't be a second player coming from that position, and he just slips right out of there silently.
If he was the hammer, Jog was the anvil, launching forward at the same time. So just to Sen start to get their nose out in front. G2 tell a couple of lies, and all of a sudden, it's even again.
Economy now not in a safe spot for either team, and the ultimate's not used on the previous round from Sen could pay dividends here. Zetshaw forced away by the stealth drone, doesn't want to get suppressed.
This is such a fast hit here through Link. Jog almost sees it coming though. Razorbine's going to slow them up. Flash as well to continue to hinder the attackers. Jog is going to set up behind him. He's going to go for this. Flash himself from behind the box, but Sen don't want a bar of it. They're committed to the site fully now, but they're on a timer.
Oh, where do they go from now? Do they try to fight forward with the Nightfall or deal with Jaw?
They're going to get crushed.
Pinched.
The trash compactor, the walls start closing in. Bang was able to find the one, but second they can just see the corner of his model around the corner, and Valid is there for two. Zelsis again has to do more than sell vibes. He's going to sell a dream. Jonah Pre snuffs it out.
After Jaw teleports behind them, matter of fact, his gate crash expired. He had no choice.
It's a good defense for G2, honestly. 5 rounds.
Sen are completely encircled. You could see the decision was, let's not deal with Jaw. We want to try and go forward.
Talk about putting him on a clock, Wyatt.
One enemy remains.
I love that G2 opted to play that so aggressively as well, fighting Sentinels as a unit, flooding back into the site. Just catching them all running forward, aside from John, who unfortunately lost that duel to Jawjimo.
Where's for a fight here in A main, Wyatt? Both teams at least posture for it. Jawjimo's going to be able to push up at least. Gotta watch out for someone that spammed through the box. He knows he needs to get out.
He knows.
They've been doing a good job controlling A main. Essentially, every round they have this position.
And they're very clear out. They know nobody's here.
Second, getting all of the information. We'll find out for the rest of the team that G2 have fully retreated back to spawn.
Yep.
Gets the info on both anchors now.
Timing off the garden comes in before Zekin confirms that they pulled off the site, so eventually it doesn't get actually that much value.
Oh, Narrate swings alone though, trying to capitalize off of that information, goes down.
Okay, there's a Razorvine, says, oh, this is an awkward angle. However, there was an opening there as the clone was picked off. Gravity well catching 2 players. John's able to deal with Leaf, and it's going to be a big stack here. But Jonah and Valen will get there. Everybody for G2 involved, but second holds it down. Can he make it a third?
Gets the info on Trent. Good fake teleport.
Backs up. Gate crash was an option. He cancels it though, and Trent will come out on top.
Sorry,
so consistent, so reliable. And he'll get the defuse.
Oh, he just wanted to hope that the crosshair would have
and
been
he's one of his
right
ultimates.
From Trent's point of view, but he's just too swift, and Zekin too low HP to win out the 1 versus 3. Oh, battle of
tanking the shot.
Yeah, that's a battle of 2 players that have been winning a hell of a lot of clutches for their respective teams.
Trent brilliant there on Abyss. That's a bit of an inflection point that round, I've got to say. Sentinels here last round of the half. A bit to buy in for. G2, of course, have a decent retake behind this Cosmic Divide.
Sentinels have, of course, fully invested here. This is the last round of the half, the last opportunity. It hasn't been too bad so far, though. A pretty competent attack side. They'd love to tie things up here. Maybe get Bang and Orb, have that Cosmic Divide ready to go. Valen has his for the defenders. Trent one away from the Hunter's Fury. All key little elements of this round to keep your eye on.
We haven't seen too many of these slower Sen rounds. And when they ended up finding nothing in mid and pivoted to be late, they were picked apart. Well, Jorg also just flattened 4 of them, but that's just a detail, really. So John is exploring that B side of the map. A bit of overkill for just 1 drone, but sending a message, RG2, do not come to B. Sentinels acquiesce.
Trent gets a bit of info, just shock darts away, gets to safety. This is Sentinels trying to get through Art quickly into the A site. They've struggled in the post plants here. G2 have been so good.
The timing, oh, there's no way you're ready for that. Zelsis, Narrate's able to get away with it though. He does take a fair chunk of damage in doing so, and there's still no plant quite yet. Sen have not committed, but there's 33 seconds in the round. Cosmic now getting thrown up to waylay them even further. Sen have to make a decision.
They're slowing things down, and G2 are falling off. They're going towards B right now. The site is lighter. Second Cosmic Divide.
They're going to double back. Map getting cut up here. And then Jorg over the top finds one. Valen has been so good on these retakes. This round, no exception. Finds himself 3. Put G2 ahead by 2.5.
Both sides displaying some great play at that A site at times, but towards the end of the half, it was all G2. Flooding in at the right moments together. Again, just displaying the fundamentals, the way that they're all able to push through this Cosmic Divide together. Off that flash from Jaw. Oh. God, Valen is a shooter when he needs to be. He's a problem.
That is raw sauce, no ketchup, Wyatt. There's been a couple of those moments from Valen in similar situations. Guys, been so crisp today. We're going to go to a break, folks. When we come back, a second half of what still might be a decider map in this series if G2 have their way. Winner, of course, goes to Bangkok. We'll see you in a moment.
Red Bull gives you wings.
two most brilliant IGLs in Americas are locked right now in Death's Duel. It's been Valen and John QT calling the shots across both of these two maps. The first one, of course, looking very favorable for G2, and Sen had a great start here on Pearl, but that momentum started to peter out.
Yeah, the two IGLs who came up during essentially the exact same era, playing against each other in Challengers in the Ascension Finals a couple years ago, and then both finding their way into the top of VCT Americas. That next generation of the best we have in the region.
What's it going to be, Sen City? A big pistol around here is a great way to make a statement. Give yourself a staging ground. George just lazily walks on out there. Bang is clean. And now Sen been able to push up pretty nicely here towards Plaza. Trent just antics around the corner, gets rid of Zelsis, makes it a 3 versus 3.
Oh, great stealth from, I mean, Leaf is just so sickening with the headhunter. The amount of first bullet taps he gets, man. There's just no one shooting like him.
And just the timing as well as they look to capitalize off the stealth drone. John, I mean, the rest of Sen thought they were home free to find those picks. And that shut them up real quick.
What more can Bang do? He gets his 2, gets them the advantage, but Zelsis isolated. Time is dwindling at the moment. Trent has a recon cycled back up. That's going to be really dangerous. Could go past the Nebula, maybe light somebody up.
And Mateo Util just went towards clearing holes that G2 have given
There's
up.
so much to clear for Sen right now. Zekin's gonna have to hit some really quick headshots.
I've seen this before. I've seen this before from Zekin. Pushing up in the post plant towards Long. He knows Valen is playing back there as well, but eventually it's just too much for him to deal with. And another here, pistol for G2. Just as Sen, we're looking to even up the game.
Sadly for Sen, there's just too much to clear and not enough time once they actually get onto the spike and they're hit by that grav well. Further delay. It's such a frustrating experience to have to defuse in that kind of situation. Sen are on the back foot. G2 in the driver's seat. A win here gets them into the grand finals, but even more importantly, it sends them straight to Masters Bangkok.
Yeah, it locks up that Masters stint.
Try for the first time to win an international
Bangkok
trophy. Something their opponent in the server has done before. Something that they're still on a quest to achieve.
You know, they'd also love, I think, to lift the trophy or win a tournament domestically. Something that was tantalizingly out of their grasp last year. Right, well, the gamble for Sen. They see nothing over towards the B side of the map here. It'll be a retake for them. An upstrut G2 with a straightforward A plant, and there's some extension here, at least over towards Secrets.
Everything covered at the moment by G2 and falling back to main just to play spam with the superior weapons. You have Jaw playing forward here, can take an engagement and go right back to main with the rest of the group.
Also that regen shield as well, gonna top him back up, means he's still good to throw down and brawl a little bit. Hang on, we're at half. Zekin got off of it. Jaw goes, he doubles back, gets another. John found 2 though with the classics. Haunt dealt with and Jonah P needs to explode here. The spray is good though. We'll be up to narrate. It's doable. Time not on his side though, and definitely the better weapon in Jonah P's hands.
I mean, how are they winning this spam battle with classics? I do not know. What was that, a hat trick from John? How did he get the last one? Just some player that got also damaged top heavy, I suppose, and just got a body shot in there. Definitely need to see that on the replay.
These spam down post plants are really supposed to not be favored.
I mean, that's an awkward timing with the recon coming in after Valen's swing. So he goes down looking a little bit silly from Sen's point of view. Listen, Sentinels will definitely take that. They'll be happy to deal all that damage. They've got G2 on a trash buy now.
Yep, there you're right. It's a little bit awkward. Although a little bit of half armor though, there's still plenty for that Outlaw to do. And okay, Zeki can't get out in time. Here come G2.
Yeah, too swift on the trade, and they're forced back by multiple utility pieces from the initiator, John in tow. They want to lock this down. They look committed to anchoring this. They're not fully retreating yet, but now backing off to safer positions. John jiggling for main as G2 cut noise.
Jonah's preempting a fast wrap here. Especially as Sen's to have to stew right now, not being able to hear anything from G2 after this cut. But it's just a staggering, a syncopation of their tempo on this A side. Looks like they're still planning to end there, Wyatt.
Feels like it doesn't even need to be said, but this is must-win for the Sentinels team. With the economy on the line, G2 could get to 10 here. They have to win this out 4v4 on the retake.
Jaw is able to close the gap, get pretty close here inside that smoke, but has to respect potential spam. Can't get into dugout though, as Narrate does cause Trent's gun to go loose. Jorg though will recover it. Narrate's pushed up pretty far there towards dugout, jump spotting this. A little bit of spray down through the wall, but he's unperturbed.
Now John does have some missiles as well to get back in here, but they've got to go soon. They're waiting for Zelsis on this rotate. Jaw fighting forward.
Almost had a timing, but takes a bunch of damage. No time for the regen shield to get back. Jonah P. Good for owning the one, and Leaf is completely out of the picture here. There's going to be bodies upon bodies to try and get through towards stop this. You can't get there. Now with a defuse for John, bang for 3.
And there's that solid retake that Sen desperately needed. On account of Neri getting a spam kill through early, patient. They wait for Zelsis to make the rotate over to them in spawn, and then Jaw was exposed on site. Great swings from Bang. And Leaf just out with the ideal spam weapon from main. The outlaw there while the spike is being stuck.
And John sets it up by finding, what, 3 kills on that pistol round in the post plant with a spam through the smoke.
Now we can see some real emphasis on the ult orbs here. You have Trent 1 away from the Hunter's Fury, and then you have Second and John over on Sen 1 away from their ults respectively. They're getting up into A main, so John's going to get the Armageddon now. Oh, Cells is punished.
Yeah, they're emphasizing that mid-doors position a little bit more. They just left Trent passively spotting towards that A side and didn't fight for the orb at all.
And look at Bang. You can tell he's feeling the pressure now. He's jump spotting. He wants to see where these players are coming from because he doesn't have the best info on B long. With Zelsis going down, that sheer wall is irrelevant.
Jorgamo ended up faking that gate crash down mid. But the jump spot was more than enough for Bang to see that single player up towards double doors.
Now Zekin right now does have a good position in A main that's allowing Sen to try and post up towards B. Bang spotted out, dangerous.
Bang trying to get away, now it's stunned out in the open. Exposed and eliminated. John QT sat back behind those smokes there, little gap in the corner. Valen could see it, but he's gonna walk up instead. John opts to get that ground up. Conceding space now to the attackers.
John wanted to find a pick with the Armageddon, isn't able to do so, and now Jaws on this late flank, Sen trying to push forward. Jonah on default.
God, everything's being thrown at him. Decayed down, sheer wall does come up here, but Jonah still ends up getting the raid out of the game. And second, in what's a must-win round, look at the money here for Sentinels. It's dire straits for Sentinels now as G2 have a pretty clean round. 4 guns come out of it for them. They get to 10.
Oh, unfortunately, Sen would have even benefited from some damage being done to G2 there, with all their players basically on effective 0 in terms of the credits. But now the economy will begin to get bolstered a little bit. They have a lot of ults moving forward. Oh, Bang wanted to anchor so desperately. Bang as an anchor is really the hallmark of his play. That is where he excels, but G2 hit him with a flood of utility into the back halls, the recon spotting him out into the gravel. It's just impossible to navigate around that minefield.
G2 have a safe post plant in theory behind this Cosmic Divide if they want to play anti-eco protocol on B. That might be the plan, but there is of course that initial Vice util that does have to be respected.
They want to ensure they get to 11. Sen are trying to stop them with a force buy, by the way. They've invested everything into this. Oh no, Bang!
He emerges on the other side of the wall, so he doesn't get the sound cue, just swings it. That's dirty stuff for Jorg. Drops down, would put Batman to shame. And now you've got 2 guns left for Sen. Jorg just doubles back through the wall, and John can't even get a lucky kill. Now you're in that post plant. Sentinels just forcing for the rest of the game at this rate. Narrate finds the one, but Jorgamo has been tearing them to shreds one by one. A Jaguar unleashed. And Narrate doesn't have the bullets to get him out of this one. 4 for Jorg, 11 for G2. And frowns for Sen City.
Man, said it prior, but for Jaw, this has been his best series so far. Picks it up, has the Leaf-like stat line with 20 kills at the moment.
Would this be Leaf's first map without 20 kills or more?
It would be his first. That is just so intelligent. Circumventing the Cosmic Divide and Bang not getting the audio cue. He pops out, gets the kill, drops down. This guy is so sick. And that man on the screen, Josh RT, the G2 coach, he spoke before even their first game about this edition of Jaw, which everyone was looking forward to. how he is such a different player from the G2 core. He pushes the pace. He will go for the wild plays like that, while the rest of them, traditionally, more of a conservative approach to the game. But with him on the team, Josh has found that they can be dynamic in the pace that they're playing at. They can have their trademark slow rounds that we saw on Abyss, where they dismantled the aggressive efforts from Sen, but they can push the pace now like that. They have the X factor.
And it doesn't cloud their identity. I mean, Jorgamo definitely wasn't compatible with the G2 of last year, but both Jorg and G2 have met in the middle, created something completely different.
And it's resulted in this team that is just, at the moment, defined by excellence, en route to win 6 maps in a row, not dropping a single one, 2 rounds away from making it, again, not just to the grand final, but to the first Masters tournament of the year.
And Wyatt, this just isn't particularly close right now. Abyss wasn't either.
Sen risked it all on that last buy. They forced into it with 2 stingers. That's resulted in an eco round here. 4 sheriffs among them.
Fast push up B.
Maybe some ultimates, if they get a couple headshots, can turn the tide.
There's the flash. They've got to get up that line. Oh, no escape. The Teho Yuta's going to lock him in here. I like that. They overwhelm Leaf and get themselves an outlaw.
That is an excellent punish. Now G2 and Leaf calling all of that information over to them. IGL Valen, he knows that it's time to just hit the gas, get into A, and now they're playing this forward position with this spike planted for Secret. They're going to meet Sen in the spawn.
Still flashes to work with for Sen. Okay, Zekin's going to see all of this now. Can he radio it back efficiently? It's Zelsis with that recovered outlaw. Trent now realizes he's going to be in a bit of danger if he sticks around. John gets there with the Sheriff. Zekin with the wrap. It's not good enough. Trent for 4. Hang on, where did he come from? 1 away from the ace here is Trent, and he's waiting for Zelsis to walk right on up. Jonah P, though, secures it. Sen looked like they had a great opener there, but they could not stick the landing. And you're not surprised. They're nothing but pistols in that round. We are on match point. G2 1 round away from qualifying for Masters Bangkok.
They were throwing haymakers at G2. Every ultimate expended in that situation. The Nightfall was perfect. This was the moment where Trent changed the complexion of that late round. He had to go down there. And if he does, that should be a Sentinels win. They would have been back in the game.
Here we go, folks. Sentinels with a desperate last-ditch effort now in this round number 19. Second on the line, punishes the shoulder pick from Tweb, but Jorg's already deep. He's real deep. Will he stick it into Halls? He does. He gets behind that Vice Util. So they have a mole. There is an imposter among us.
Wow, Leaf is actually pushing up into Link at the exact same time, meeting with Valen over there.
Still guarding. It's going to be Jorg on his own here behind this Cosmic Divide. At some point, G2 have to intervene.
It's a pistol round.
It's a shorty off, in fact. Now G2 want to come
Wow.
back, but it might be too late for that center flooding into the site. They have it under control with Valen. Valen at a timing. It's not bad, but it's not enough. Not yet. Jonah P stunned up by that special delivery. In the meantime, the defuse goes down. Life still for Sen.
Perfect stun from John, and they really, Sentinels were just able to circumvent those link positions from G2, smoking it off, fighting forward on the site. Sure, you know, Valen makes an attempt late, that second player coming in from that angle, but at that point, numbers overwhelming for Sen.
And now this is where Sen, despite this being a very dangerous situation, go back to what worked for them so well on this map against Loud. Get that, you know, A main control, leave Zek in there quite often.
You want to play,
and work the B side too.
5 opportunities for G2 to close this out. Get to Masters. Can Sen make this comeback a reality? Zek push forward, excuse me, has to get out. Oh my God, Trent is just too accurate with a Hunter's Fury.
Zelsis is a steaming pair of shoes, that's it. Zek was forced off the line, but the Clone hasn't had an impact in this round. The beat presence for G2 is minimal as they have pivoted to an A main that was uncontested, to a site that's only being populated by Bang. And he's about to get real busy.
This might just be another fantastic call from Valen to close out the game, hitting the site with only 1 player.
The multi-swing is just too much to deal with. Bang feeling like Narrate from that first map, all on his own. An Island
that is covered by the G2 Tsunami, and now we fall back to the post-plant positions. G2 don't have any deep sight positions. No one at dugout. All playing from A main, and a late wrap here through Art should come.
Oh, and Leaf gets the kill onto second. They have post-plant utility as well. The shots exchanged.
Goes low. John QT managed to hit that big 140 shot, and Narrate's able to move up there. Checks Art. The late flank is thwarted. Here's the C's. No one caught in it, and Jorgamo. It'll have to be him. Narrate, try as he might. Can't do it. And G2 is more than just a statement. G2-0. It's a lifestyle, baby.
This team is just simply excellence. 6 maps won in a row. A whole bunch of different maps too, by the way. It feels like their map pool is just everything at the moment. And off this sick run, they've made it into the grand finals. They've made it to the first Masters of the year. And they are living up to the enormous expectations that have been placed upon them by the community, by the fans. The roster has lived up to the hype. Jaw showing why he is a world champion. This is his best series that he's played so far, and it's been against the toughest opponent they've ran into so far.
GG, G2.
2024. This is a G2 that put the work in the off-season to get Jorgamo acclimated so they could hit the ground running
That
here
is
in Americas.
kind of
And their
disappointing.
performance so far has been nothing short of flawless. They now will wait in that grand final. They may be looking at Sentinels again in that game. The lower bracket is a treacherous place to be sent to at this point in kickoff. I've got to say though, that clean play, the team play, just as Leaf highlighted, was more than enough to overcome the heroics today.
And since a couple years ago when that rivalry between the M80 team and the guard back then with the 2 IGLs of John Cutie and Valen, this is the 10th time they've gone back and forth in matches. Valen is up 6-4. They are 2 of the best that we have in the region, if not the 2 best.
Sentinels have brought out some of these really interesting compositions with a lot of bells and whistles, but the fundamentals let them down a little bit against Loud. They made that a really close map, and up against G2, you can't come in half-baked. You can't come in without all of your hatches battened down. And multiple points, we saw Sentinels get exposed, despite some moments from individuals that you come to expect from this team. They were not able to show that level of play consistently enough to topple this juggernaut in Americas. G2 are the real deal.
That second map was the first one where Leaf actually had an off game. Every other map up until that point was dropping 20 minimum, including map 1 Abyss. And it just doesn't matter because this team is so well-rounded. The consistency is there. All aspects of their play are firing on all cylinders at the moment. You can't be anything but impressed. There's a reason that they're driving so much hype at the moment. There's a reason people are thinking they could be the ones to win Masters. They've made it there at the very least.
A lot of those round wins really sucking the air out of the room here as Sen City fell further and further into dismay. But it's not over for that team, of course. They've got to go down to that lower bracket, of course, and you know, either Crew or MIB might be awaiting them. I'm curious to see how that evolves. For now, though, we're going to go down to Riv on the stage for our Verizon post-match interview with the one and only Professor.
With you. We're doing it live, no worries. All right, we're here with Jonah P. Ladies and gentlemen, G2 making it to Masters Bangkok. Let's go. Congratulations to G2, to Jonah P. I got to ask you, how's it feel now that you've locked in the Masters Bangkok ticket?
It feels great. I would say we expected this.
Okay.
Our practice have been really drilled. You know, everyone online is like saying we're the best team.
This is true.
But we're, you know, qualifying for Bangkok was really the goal. But for us, we actually want to win a stage for once. It's our 3rd time in a row, so we're going for it all.
Yeah, you got it. It's in your sight. I got to ask you why. Starting with the maps, let's go back to the game. Why was Abyss so dominant? I just want to start there. You guys came out firing.
I think our comp is just unique, and plus we have Leaf. He's been insane on Chamber. Whenever Leaf's on Chamber, we just know like our confidence is just skyrocketed. So it's just basically him.
And this always seems to be a good matchup. Obviously, map 2 went a little bit closer. What do you think it is the hardest thing about playing against Sen when you do match up against them?
Definitely you guys. The energy of the crowd is probably the hardest part to deal with. Whenever they get an insane round, you know, we definitely can hear them, and I think just having that swing of momentum shift for them is very important for them.
Just wild to think about.
Yeah, and also just this meta in general is very, very overwhelming and hard. So
It's like you want to play at home, but it's their home too. It's more so their home. So great job, crowd. Great job. Got to do better next time, though. Yeah, G2 fans, you did great. Great job.
Yep.
Looking at how the team is always on top, how do you stay there? What do you do to battle complacency, to continue to innovate, to make sure that you are actually doing the right thing that nobody else is doing yet?
I mean, I don't think we've ever really been at the top yet until now. So, like you said, try not to get too complacent. Just keep grinding, keep innovating. Don't get comfortable, basically. You know, I was gonna call out NRG, but you know, NRG had their win in the offseason. Everyone predicted them, and then you know, I'm not saying they got lazy, but I think that's like standard for teams when they win an event is, you know, to get laid back, and that's not what we're gonna do. So.
Right on. And for you, final question for the professor: what homework have you given yourself this year? What are you working on, and what are you looking forward to?
Honestly, what I've been working on, I pretty much just stare at my mini-map with stun out every round, and Jogamo tells me who to stun, and I either say he's stunned or, oh shit, I'm sorry, I missed him. And, you know, that's pretty much it.
Right on. Well, everything's working. Congratulations on the match. Congratulations on Master Bangkok. Let's hear it for G2 Esports one more time. We are going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we have MIBR versus Crew. Don't go anywhere.
I've got a bunch of different mice.
When you find the one, you know it's the one.
저는 이게 제일 좋은 것 같아요.
Look at this! Isn't this perfect?
누가 만들었는지 알려주는 것도 같이 들어있고.
This mouse is ready for a fashion show.
It's Pulsar by me.
It's by me.
It's Pulsar by you.
The human body was built to move. Not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Maybe a Crew coming up next. Definitely not a matchup I was expecting. And I was expecting Crew to do well. But I had Leviathan over MIBR. But then again, MIBR is the Earthpass team, so... it's kinda tough, man. Earthpass is the fucking god when you think about it.
mis expectativas contra el partido de mi BR son bastante altas. Siento que jugar contra los equipos brasileños siempre es un juego de mucho firepower.
Tá bom pro time brasileiro do MBR. Artezinho avançou na loucura pro céu. Não olhou pra ele o King no míssil. Achou o gol!
O que eu acho do nosso jogo contra a Cru, sendo sincero, eu acho que vai ser um jogo difícil. Porque o time da Cru é um time bom, eu conheço todo mundo dali. Adverso, eu tenho muito carinho pelo adverso, inclusive, mas chegou no servidor adversário.
Sin prevalece la tiene de frente. Encuentra la eliminación adverso de cara 1 para 1. Tiene 46 de vida. ¡Del adverso! ¡Del adverso! ¡Vamos, adverso, carajo!
Somos un equipo que está evolucionando y a pasos gigantados.
Mas a gente está muito confiante no nosso jogo, da nossa trajetória até aqui. E eu sinto que a gente vai chegar cada vez mais confiante, independente de qualquer time que seja. E a gente está esperando uma boa partida.
Welcome back, everyone, to day 10 of VCT Americas Kickoff and our second match of the day. It's the lower bracket semifinal between MIBR and Crew Visa. I'm Golden Boy, of course, joined by Andrew and Mimi, and a special guest who just qualified for Masters Bangkok, the IGL legend himself, Valen, my brother. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm gonna see you in Bangkok.
Yeah, I'm so excited, man. I was searching up pictures of Bangkok before this game. I was like, I need to make it.
We'll get a couple pad thai dishes.
Yeah, bro, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still have a final ahead of you. I imagine you're charged up to try and win a regional trophy after going so many second places now.
Yeah, back-to-back last year, lost both. So hopefully this is the time
We were talking in the break. You said you were in 3 finals?
Well, now it's 3 in a row, because we went back-to-back last year, didn't win. Finally, we got it here again, so maybe this is the time we win it.
And as they say, third time's a charm. So who knows? We'll see what happens if the sayings work out. But in any case, though, let's go ahead and move on to our elimination matchup, because we have MIBR versus Crew Visa. Now, for MIBR, this is the organization's best placement. And for these players, it has certainly been an incredible event. But I think more importantly, Ender, Aspas, most definitely a kingmaker here.
I mean, just look at what this guy has done over his years in Valor, you know, top in the world with Loud, going to Leviathan last year, winning an America's title. You remember that one, right? Yeah. And now with MIBR, bringing this roster that was at the absolute bottom last year to a top 4 at the start of the year. Like, what, he joined the team a month ago? Like, that's crazy.
And after losing their first match, making this lower bracket recovery is so impressive. He's back playing with Noswar, who he was slated to play with last year on Leviathan. And then Lev made the very controversial decision, dropped Noswar right at the end of the year, going into Americas. But now they're back together. They got their revenge on Lev. And it seems like not only has the team, but Aspas especially have really heated up in this lower bracket.
And I think as a player, like having a guy like Aspas on your team, when you load into the server, you're just so confident. Like this guy's gonna. How could you not be? Yeah. So I think the rest of the players are so talented, and they're feeding off of his confidence into these matches, and they've been looking incredible.
Yeah, and you're loading into the server, and he's just like reclined all the way back on his chair, casually gonna drop 30 this game.
Yeah. He's just a chill guy. Yeah, that's all it is. I like that meme. I'm gonna kill it though. All right, now of course we have to highlight another player on this squad who has been insane, and it's Artson and his performance all throughout kickoff. And the thing is that we were getting to see him slay, but apparently he's also stepping into this IGL role. Good thing is we have a really good IGL here with us on the desk. Let's talk about the difficulties of that, because he's playing that from some forward positions as well sometimes.
Yeah, for them to have the trust in him to pick up the IGL role, he must be a very smart game sense player who understands the macro about the game. But not only that, is he's flexing on different roles, playing a bunch of agents, and frying. So I give a lot of respect to Artson picking up that role, putting the team on his back and leading them to these victories, because it's no easy task, especially when you have that pressure of trying to call in these big moments and, you know, perform. He's doing that to a T, so very impressive stuff from him.
Yeah, it's been very impressive from him, but I also think you see some of the downsides of making that kind of switch in the middle of the tournament, because unlike teams like yourself, like Sentinels, they're playing really old comps. They tried the Teo early, changed off that comp, so they're playing really simple stuff where you're kind of playing the very classic, like, pull the rotations, mid-round on the attacking side, kind of set Aspas up in positions to make a pick, which is all well and good. But to me, I feel like that limits the ceiling compared to teams like yourself, who have had more time to kind of actually drill new compositions, new ideas, and really implement that leadership into a stronger preset plan.
Yeah, very close.
I do think there is something to be said, though, like, even if they are playing older comps, like, especially like the double duelist on Split, where Artson's flexing over and picking up the raise, I still think that even though we've seen that in the past, like, you're not getting scrims against that type of stuff every day, so I feel like it's still, like, hard for teams to adjust to unless they have time to prep in advance?
Yeah, definitely. But I think with this team being so new, I remember they also talked about some of the lack of practice time during the offseason for them because they were newly formed. Sometimes stuff just clicks.
Do you think that this could also be a reflection of that? Like the amount of agents that they're going for is also like, hey, we don't really know, but let's figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, and they're doing that great. Like that's very tall task to complete, just picking up new agents, new comps, but they're doing it well. And so big shout out to Arzen. Like that guy's frying.
Yeah.
There's kind of like two mindsets of it too, because you have one where it's like you're going to play a bunch of these things like Artson is, and then like a Jung QT on the other where it's Teo every single map, and we're just going to make sure we know how to make that work.
I do think it is a testament, though, for this team to just the player quality that they have, that they're making all these changes mid-tournament with elimination match after elimination match on the line, and they're still finding the adaptations in the middle of these matches, figuring out how they want to play, and sometimes having to fall back on guys like Artson, guys like Aspas, but getting the wins regardless. And I think even if they aren't successful here in kickoff, this tournament will go a long way for them finding their identity into the rest of Americas.
Well, and let's not forget too, championship points are also going to be very important, right? So being able to make it up until this point, if you're MIBR, these players, that talent, absolutely absurd. Speaking of talent, though, we got Aspas standing by with Rivington to get some thoughts heading into today's matchup.
Aspas, you've been on a tear this year, fragging out of your mind. How is the team setting you up for success so you can be so good every game?
It's very simple. Like here, everyone trusts in me and everyone respects me, and that's all I need.
Easy confidence. Final question for you. One game lost at the start of kickoff, but you've won 3 since. What changed in the team mental after that game?
Basically, before that game, we didn't have almost no prac. After that, we won the first game, and we got like a week to prac. So basically, after the loss, we got some time to practice and prepare to the next matches.
Easy. Practice makes perfect. Aspas, thank you. Good luck in the game.
Vaughn, you're saying it. It's just a chill diff. The guy's just vibing so hard in that interview.
I think it's important as a player, like just being chill, try to level your mind, kind of quiet out the noise, and he's like the epitome of that. So I can tell why he's so good.
Yeah, I mean, there is an argument to make where it's like, maybe you're a little too chill, but honestly, not in Aspas' case. I think he could be even chiller. You know what I mean? Colder.
Just playing with the seat all the way
exactly.
back.
Just go, really full send it, you know? Anchor back, just go be good and live your best life.
Despite chilling that hard, he has a crazy record against Crew. He's only lost to this team once before, all the way back at Masters Copenhagen, which just so happens to be the last time that Crew ever made an international that was not a Champions tournament. But since then, he has been absolutely undefeated against this team, and it's just kind of owned Crew and Kesnet.
It is crazy, like looking at the sort of like old clips here from the teams. Although I will say that Crew also had another very bad record going for them historically up against Finesse the other week, where they'd only ever beaten him on 1 map. So this new Crew team does have a lot of new stuff going for them this
I mean, Val, what do you make? I don't know if you had a chance to look at Crew, but you know, you're familiar with those guys. You've been playing against them for a while. What do you think of this squad?
My opinion on Crew is that if you give them a hot start early, you could just get destroyed, and you have to be the team that has the mental fortitude to come back against them. I remember last time we played them, they like 13-4'd us on their map pick, and it took a lot of mental resilience to come out with that win. So you gotta shut them out early, because those players have max confidence, and if they're on that level, they're just gonna run you down.
I think they're perennially the easiest team to underestimate, because you look at them and they don't have as pretty strats. Sometimes they don't even have as insane individual performances as other teams. But like you're saying, once they have that momentum, once a guy like Kesnet is really feeling it in the server, this team is so hard to stop, which I think is why they've gone on so many runs. You think of making it through LCQ every time they've gone to champs. Like when they are feeling it, this team can really carry through, and I think beating NRG is a huge step towards that.
Massive step up for them, without a doubt. And look, the stakes are high for all of these teams here, right? MIBR, they understand the situation. Crew, they know what's on the line here. But let's actually get a second to hear from Artson to get his perspective on the huge stakes for this matchup here at Kickoff.
Eu acho que a nossa cabeça está realmente para classificar e pegar essa vaga para o Masters. A gente não consegue pensar tanto em perder ou foi para casa, porque a gente é um time muito resiliente, muito confiante. Então, cada partida para a gente é uma partida como se fosse a partida da nossa vida, independente se vale alguma coisa ou não. Então, acho que essa maturidade do time ajuda muito a gente a ter foco no nosso objetivo, que é realmente conquistar uma vaga.
Well, there you heard right there some resiliency from Artson. Without a doubt, is going to be the thing that MIBR needs to take them over the finish line. But that takes us over to their opponents on the other side. We were talking about them beforehand, and that is, of course, Kruvisa, a team that exudes confidence and resiliency as well. Now, this is a squad that, you know, were not the favorites in any match that they ever play. But Ender, they always find a way, just as we were talking about, to dig deep because of these individuals.
And honestly, I think this match was especially impressive because they got smoked by Loud in their opening match of the tournament, right? So then to come back and have this performance where, yeah, the first game's kind of a blowout on their key pick, but then it comes super down to the wire on the second. To have that resiliency in that fight in them was really nice to see.
What was even more startling as well is that whenever you see them play, Valen, it looks like they don't care about their lives. They're just going in. They're just like, screw it. Let's just see what happens. And if we get two, hey, we get two. And if we die, we die.
Yeah, I mean, the pack mentality in Valorant is a really good game plan because of all the utility and how this meta is developing of like a lot of Breach Tejo. It's a lot of pack fights right now, and they do that like some
they
of
are
the
the
best.
pack fighters.
Yeah. And speaking on like the revenge against Loud, I know, like, as a player, rematches are always very difficult as the winner because you come out and you watch the VOD and you're like, okay, we did this well, and you know, our game plan worked. For the other team, they're looking at what they did wrong, how they can improve it, what's the next step for us to beat this team. And so when I saw that result come out, I wasn't too shocked, honestly. Like, rematches are difficult in Valorant just because, you know, you figure out why you lost and you learn from it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do think this match is so interesting compared to the first one of today because I think we got to see you with G2, who's very indexed into the new stuff, trying out the chamber again, and really experimenting with the Teo, Sentinels, who's also super bought into that and the Vice and all the kind of new meta stuff, versus these two teams that feel very classic, very fundamental, very reliant on kind of pop-off performances to get the momentum going. But when it does get into simple Valorant, like being in a team fight against Crew, when it just comes down to that raw individual performance, they're so tough to beat. I mean, Melzer was absolutely ridiculous the last time that he was playing that bind. I think he dropped like 25 kills on Brim.
Yeah, no, honestly, like the individual skill on this team is really scary, but to me, it's still a bit perplexing how different they look on their sides. Like, their defensive side looks unbelievable, like how they actually anchor on sites when players are coming into them and they sort of play on their own terms, especially like Adverso and Shy anchoring down a B side is just absolutely next level. But I do think this team struggles on their attacking side. We've seen it clearly on Haven, but I think it even exists on other maps where maybe because it's bringing in new pieces or whatnot,
I think I'm gonna call it for
getting
today.
clear,
It's getting
darts
very
aren't being
late for me.
broken. There's like a lot of these like micro errors of playing together as a team that I think some teams in the past have been able to exploit, and it makes me concerned for them the higher and higher level of competition they end up facing off against.
That is an excellent point there. I mean, we saw some heroics without a doubt, especially from Shy. You had mentioned before what he was doing, I believe, on that Vice. There is a lot to be excited for Crew, but there's also a lot to be concerned about. But for now, though, let's actually send it over to Riv yet again, who's standing by with another member of Kruvisa.
Shy, before your match, I gotta ask, you've been playing incredible lately. Are you feeling this? Are you seeing it? You know, how's it feel to be just fragging?
Tomorrow morning we have some bangers.
La verdad es que estos días me han tocado a mí como resaltar harto, pero la verdad es que siento que
I
tengo un
love
equipo que
Vitality.
todos podemos resaltar, jugamos demasiado al juego y me siento confiado en cada uno de mis compañeros
Vitality
y no
tier
siento que se trate solo de mí, sino que la verdad del equipo.
Damn.
The truth is, this past couple days, I've been highlighted a lot, but the truth is,
Anyways,
it's more of our
I
team.
think that's
The
gonna
whole
be
team
it
is
for me.
capable of being highlighted in some specific scenarios, so it's not really about me, it's about the team.
And I got one more question for
I'll see you tomorrow,
Crew
maybe
always
for
has these
some
lower
games, I don't
bracket
know
runs. Why
exactly
are you guys so dominant once you get down here?
when and for what.
O sea, está el dicho de que si no se sufre no es crew, y también lo otro es, yo lo definiría como la garra latina. Siento que todos sabemos de dónde venimos y el hecho de estar.
See you tomorrow. Stay safe. Bye bye.